Conversation, amusing anecdote, conversation. This is a cold open. Oh, hi.
As cold
hello.
as it gets.
Yeah. Welcome to
Ice cold opening.
Welcome to the 60th episode of the Destiny Community Podcast, brought to you by Blue Microphones and Headphones and Scuf Gaming Controllers. Yeah. It's about all my creativity gone for this episode now.
Is that why you're wrapped in a blanket?
No, my.
Are you sick right now? Do you need chicken noodle soup?
My very thin hoodie is completely soaking wet, and I could have just tossed it in the dryer for like 5 minutes. But you know, I also just got this very soft, fluffy blanket. Which we are not sponsored by LL Bean, but you guys make good blankets. And I was like, I kind of want to just lean my chair back and just wrap myself up in a blanket and feel all nice.
You're telling me that you rode your hoodie hard and put it away wet. That's lame, man. That's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful.
If anything, the hoodie rode me hard. What are you talking about?
Are you wet right now?
No, it's wet. I'm
for all the audio
dry,
listeners,
warm, and cozy right now. What are you talking about?
For all the audio listeners, Patrick looks like a homeless man right now.
Yeah.
But
welcome to the look of the past like 4 months for me.
Not to dwell on Patrick's homelessness right now, but tonight we have a guest. Tim, also known as Darkness, is our guest tonight. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to be here.
Timmy.
Hey. Timmy. Sorry if the voice is a little hoarse. We had a crazy stream today.
Oh, I heard about that, man. That just ended, right?
Yeah. It was finishing the stream and jumping right on this, so it's been a good day.
What? You're a veteran streamer. What makes a stream crazy? What happened?
It was so Twitch has the new sub gifting thing out. And so we kind of saw how like they do the pass forward things in drive-thrus.
I'll give them $20,
like a pay it forward.
Pay for the person
exactly.
behind me.
So that's what happened. So it was like one person would sub, and then they'd gift a sub, and then that person would then gift a sub to somebody else, and it just kind of just kept going. So it was neat, and it went on all day. So that was very cool.
Wow,
that's awesome. What did it?
That's great.
Where did it get to?
806.
That is an amazing sub train.
Yeah,
it's like 806 new subs for
between subs and resubs. It was 806 people.
That's amazing.
That's great, man. And that's a really solid community that's gathering around and just. Do you think that's like that kind of thing as an event, like a momentum building thing, or how does that happen? I've seen sub trains happen like that, but I just don't know how they come about.
Yeah, I don't know either. I really don't know. I have no idea what started it, but like you said, I think like it was just kind of something that the community could kind of like get behind and just make it happen. So it was cool. It was very neat.
That's so cool.
Has there been any challenges to that gifting process? I've heard people talking back and forth about how there's some negatives to that, but have you guys experienced anything? Anything negative for the gifting? Like,
I mean, there's like no prompt to accept being someone gifting a sub to you. So it's just like I was hanging out in Mav's chat because she was playing World of Warcraft and I was trying to make her sub to it. And then someone just gifted me a sub to her. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I would have liked to say yes or no to it because I'm probably not going to be here.
No?
Yeah, Holtz.
Maybe someone that frequents her chat.
Against Mav, I think.
Are you going to put that sub away wet also?
That's messed up. So I read a little bit about this, but we can talk about it later. But I think some of the challenges were that people would auto sub you to maybe somebody that you didn't necessarily want to be associated with.
Right.
That was something. Maybe there's a streamer that you don't want your name associated to.
So I actually haven't heard that one, but the other one I've heard is that sub begging could become a problem in chat. So somebody who gets aggressive about begging for a sub, and that those are like really the only things that are negative. Aside from that, it's it's
There's
generosity.
still a ban button, right?
Yeah,
but I think it's a great idea. I'm stoked that you got an opportunity to like ride that wave, Tim. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Neat. It's very cool.
That's so cool.
So I wanted to ask you, how did you start out in streaming? Where do you come from? Is Destiny your first game?
No, Destiny was not my first game. Titanfall was actually my first game that I really started like streaming. I streamed a little bit of Battlefield 3 when I was in college, but it didn't really go anywhere. It was kind of just something fun to do in between classes and work. But then when my wife and I finished school, we moved to South Florida, and it was kind of like a dark time for me. I was very like depressed and was bored because I didn't have any friends, and I had this crappy job at Best Buy. I was like, you know what? Like Titanfall is really cool. I'm really excited about it. I miss being on Twitch. Let's give that a shot again. And like nothing happened. It was a terrible experience. Like it was like that standard Twitch story where like, hey, I'm not getting any viewers or any followers. And a buddy of mine who was working at Twitch at the time, Alex Mendez, who's Whatface, his emote. Him and I were good buddies, and we're still good friends. And I called him up one day. I'm like, dude, what should I do? Like, what's going on? He's like, if you're loving it, you should just stick with it. And I did, and I kept playing Titanfall and was streaming it a lot. And that's how I got partnered, actually, by growing my stream through Titanfall. So Titanfall and Battlefield. Did a little bit of Destiny. That didn't go very well for my channel. So Destiny kind of stayed as my off-stream, like late at night game. So I did that, and then. Hold
on, can I pause you real quick?
Sure.
Roll back to the beginning. So beginning of streams, growing your viewership. I always want to give people perspective of how long things take. So in your case, how long did it take you to go from, say, fresh stream, nobody's really watching, to, let's say, 50 viewers,
Oh, man, that took... So I started doing that in February. So I want to say February of 2014 is when I started streaming it. I probably didn't see any real growth until May or June of that year.
Okay.
Where I was actually, I think maybe Titanfall? It was nothing but Titanfall. So and so it was nice. It's like, once Titanfall was no longer, like the honeymoon phase was gone and all the big guys left, I kind of like snuck my way up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I was able to kind of take that top spot, and I just rode that until like that directory just died completely out.
Yeah. And during that time, again, like what was it, how many days per week would you stream? About how long?
Well, I was also I was doing some stuff at school, and I was part-time at Best Buy. I was probably 4 or 5 days a week. And I probably, at that point, before I went like full-time streaming on Twitch, I was probably doing 20-ish hours, 20 to 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
On top of everything else that I was doing. And then I got to a point where like things were going well. So I was actually able to leave Best Buy. And then it got to the point where I was like, well, this is getting really big. This is kind of blowing up. What do I do? And that's when I finally made the switch to full-time.
Nice.
Streaming. So yeah,
that's awesome.
No, it's been a really cool journey so far.
It's great because a lot of people don't understand how much energy and effort it takes. Like they'll maybe stream a week and be like, I got like 2 viewers. Like this ain't gonna turn anything.
Kind of like throw their hands up and that's it.
Yeah,
so.
And the lineage behind building a stream is there's a lot of effort. There's an overnight success is usually something that's been in the works for years, technically.
Yeah. Or like it's one of those few and far between accidents that kind of happens. Like they have something that's really cool and they don't have a lot of viewers, but some big streamer found them. They just kind of get blown up.
Yeah.
But that very rarely happens.
For sure. Yeah.
So what was it like playing Titanfall? Because Titanfall was a huge release. It was 2014.
I think 2014.
Titanfall was a huge release. It was a really fun game too, but it died kind of a quick death. Like surprisingly quick, maybe not from your perspective, but from my perspective, it's like people were really hot on it, and then all of a sudden there's just nobody was playing it anymore. But they did cool stuff, like they released free DLCs and free stuff. And so, what was it like actually staying with that community for so long?
I mean, like it was definitely one of the smaller communities for sure. But like you said, it was a very neat. It was like to be like of like those top level players. It was very interesting because people wanted to learn, and it was cool to be able to teach people. I've never really had that experience of teaching people how to get better at video games. It was a very interesting experience to kind of be like kind of fall into that role of becoming like a mentor through streaming of like, hey, this is how you get better, and this is how you wall run, or this is how you can better like maximize the ability of your Titans and your pilots at the same time. So like it was neat. It definitely fell into one of those those small niches. Like it was a very niche game. It's that COD-esque style game. So those just don't seem to be very popular on Twitch as much anymore. So it was cool. It was a very interesting experience, and so it was nice to find that directory very early where people were still very hungry for that game. Now Titanfall 2, unfortunately, it was not as popular. And I think just more and more of those games are becoming less popular as we go along. Unfortunately, those fast-paced, those twitchy shooters just aren't as fun.
That's too bad. Titanfall 2 was a fantastic
Titanfall 2 was great. They improved so much from the first one. Just unfortunately, I think like its release window and also just of the nature of the game, just people just aren't as interested anymore.
The first-person shooter genre as a whole is also like occupied by a ton of games.
It's oversaturated.
Sure. But Titanfall 2 came out.
Released the same.
It came out when Battlefield 1 and Infinite Warfare basically came out in like a 2-week period.
Sandwich.
No. I mean,
it was the end of October.
Came out.
No, Titanfall 2.
Titanfall 2.
Oh,
Titanfall 1 came out in the spring, and that's why everyone thought, like, I was blown away when they were like, we're going to release it before Battlefield 1. Like, you guys are crazy. You should bring it out in the spring when it's dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's the perfect time for video games to come out when you aren't competing with Battlefield.
The other thing I think kind of didn't do well for Titanfall 1 was it's like it's console exclusivity to Xbox. So
that's the only way they could fund their game, though, man. They had the production of it when they left. What was the Respawn studio, right?
Respawn made it, and they had left Activision.
Right, when they left Activision, they
left Infinity. It was
they were Infinity War.
Yeah. One of the guys.
Call of Duty.
I know one of the guys that was.
Both of the creators of Call of Duty basically left Infinity Ward and Activision, formed Respawn, then immediately seemed to sign a deal with EA, which seemed crazy at the time, and now it seems even crazier.
True.
Topical.
Very topical.
Very topical. Yeah, so
they just got bought, right? They just got bought.
They just got purchased by EA. So
Gobbled.
Like, honestly, it's good for them because that gives them access to more resources. Like they're actually able to use the Frostbite engine now. So like we could see a new Titanfall game with destructible environments and things like that, which would be cool to see a Titan like punch through a wall and grab a dude.
That would be
I would love to see that. Like that'd be really neat.
I just want to see a Titan down on a building and flatten it.
Yeah, how cool
Battlefield size maps with Titans.
Oh, God.
And that was one of the things. Like, I love the Titan combat in Titanfall, and it's like I found myself more engaged with the Titan combat than I ever was with the pilot combat in the second Titanfall. I think they really hit the nail on the head with the Titan combat. It was a lot of fun, and so like I would love to see more of that.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep asking you about Titanfall. It's just
dude. Honestly, like that's one of my favorite games. Like
I need to play the second one.
It's really good.
It had a
lot of fun. Well done.
It had a fantastic campaign.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but praise about the campaign. So I think it's like there's probably going to be like a sale on it over Black Friday too. So I'll pick that up.
I hear your Titan dies in the campamping.
Can you not give me any type of story spoilers? You asshole. Every podcast.
What a dickhead move. When did you move into Destiny? When did you make that decision?
For Destiny 2? Or
for Destiny 2?
Well, yeah. So again, like I had done a little bit of Destiny here and there, and it didn't really work out for me. I just was not getting the traction, and just wasn't really working out for the channel. And then as soon as Destiny 2 was announced for PC, like I flipped. I was like, yes, finally, because like I'm not a controller guy. My thumbs don't know what to do. I'm mouse and keyboard, and like I'm. If it makes me sound like an elitist, sorry, but it's just like controllers they don't agree with me. I love playing my games on PC. I've done it my entire life. So as soon as it was announced for PC, I knew I had to jump on that, and so I was hitting up people. I hit up Justin from Activision. I was like, hey man, I'm really interested. And so like he flew me out to the D2 reveal. And that was really cool, and got to meet a bunch of guys. And so that just like made me fall in love with it even more. And I'd always been such a big fan of the community, of just seeing how all of the different streamers, how they just like look like one gigantic family. I'd always been so jealous of that. The Twitch directory for Destiny is just so unique, and it's so different from anywhere else you will go in Twitch. And I've always envied that. I've always wanted to be a part of that. And luckily enough, I got to meet Dr. Lupo. And so Lupo and I became buddies through playing PUBG, actually. And so then he introduced me to a bunch of streamers like Broman and Goth, Say No to Rage and True Vanguard, and like all these guys that I had watched just for like from the outside, just kind of skimming through the directory, and now to kind of just like be completely thrown into it. It's been a very cool experience. So I grinded it really hard on PS4, and so I found it when it came out on PC. I was like, I'm gonna take a break because I don't want to get completely burned out. But now with Osiris coming out, I'm definitely excited to jump back into it. So
I thought I was gonna take a break too, but I just keep getting sucked back in. I think it's the PC version is just so beautiful, but also like nice. I'm the opposite of you. I've been a console gamer for the last 15 years exclusively, and relearning mouse and keyboard it's added a thrill to playing Destiny.
So you've got like this learning curve for yourself. So you're still trying to figure things out.
So like day to day, I can see improvement day to day, which is a lot of fun. It's much different than 3 years of Destiny 1, where the learning curve had pretty much plateaued.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely interesting to make that switch. The PC version of the game feels so much smoother, and I think that when you end up, even if you bring a controller over, there's aspects of it that are just so much nicer. And I don't want to harp on that. I still love playing the game.
You're so
on
toxic,
console.
Pope.
Jesus.
People like
Toxic
playing on
streamer,
console.
wow.
Just let them be.
I enjoy console, man.
You
I
need
just
to
did
have your 140 plus frames, man. It's not going to make that big of a difference at all.
I just played the raid on console, and it was a ton of fun. So I'm not hating on console right now. Okay.
Don't try and cover your tracks. We all see what you did.
Yeah, man.
Never.
Come on.
Abandon your roots.
I got my new PC, and I'm not leaving my roots.
How is the new PC?
It's great, man. I love the thing. It's huge. I
PCs are
no
big.
idea gaming PCs are so big.
They got to breathe.
And
all that
really
high
small
frames
ones.
create a lot of heat.
So we actually got a really cool project going, because I didn't want to announce this. I didn't want to talk about it too much, but on our PC, and we started. When he talked about sending me a computer, I said I wanted a basic level computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The average gamer getting in to play, the average frames of Destiny 2.
Huge mistake, Pope.
Well, no, I'm
unlimited or bust.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it because that's where we
SLI 1080 Ti's. I want.
No, that's where we started, and then
did they make a 9700K yet?
What he's gonna do is he's gonna be sending me on our PC. He's gonna be sending me upgrade parts to this computer,
nice.
And I'm gonna be installing them and working my way. I know I'm going to, but that's the point.
No, don't break the hardware. Make sure you watch a bunch of YouTube videos.
When you you got like a processor or a graphics card, put some nice thick wool socks on, and then hold it with your bare hands, and then just walk across your floor. Just do some shuffles.
There's a ton of stuff that he's sending me, a new processor, graphics card, stuff like that that I'm going to be exchanging, and I'm going to be documenting my experience.
You have to put your memory sticks in the microwave first to flash them properly.
Frankly, I want to hear about the things you do to this PC. Yeah. That'll be fun to hear about, like the steps you take to upgrade this PC as you go.
Yeah, but
I can't wait.
And the results, what frame rates you see, what kind of smoothness you see, like how it actually turns out for you every time you upgrade it.
I've built 3 or 4 PCs in the past 2 years, so if you got questions, Pope, obviously.
No, my job right now is to struggle through this. It's supposed to be the average gamer's experience of upgrading their PC. The only difference is that I'm not going to be having to go out and buy the parts, which I guess is the challenge.
That's not very average gamer at all.
That's not very average gamer at all. But like just the whole, here's my only computer. I'm going to put a new graphics card in it. And then it's been a while since you put a graphics card in a computer. And then the tabs for unseating the graphics card properly have changed since you've last done it. Like one of mine was a little tab that you pulled like sideways. Now they changed to ones that you got to press down on, but the graphics card's so big, I can't actually get my fingers behind there to press down the thing. So, am I doing this right? I don't know. Yeah, it's a fun experience.
That's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to have my own challenges.
So you've been playing on PC, right? Well,
I was until then. I have to do some work on the PC. I guess downloading it was a challenge already.
Hold on. Have you seen Destiny 2 on PC yet?
I have for sure.
In your house.
How fast did you get a virus, and what porn sites were you visually that got you that virus?
I have to re-image the computer. I guess I did something wrong. I don't know.
Are you serious?
I have no idea.
Break a computer already?
I am a console noob. I don't know what I can't download.
Don't blame the consoles on this.
Yeah, this
is your fault.
With net neutrality, he wouldn't have been even able to access the porn sites that gave him those viruses.
It was in high frames. I couldn't. You
haven't seen porn until you've seen it at 144 FPS.
If there was some 144 FPS porn, I would have been able to tell you about it. I don't know this right now. Maybe you should slide some DMs,
All real life.
All I know is that this whole experience has been real, and I'm sitting here looking at it going,
real,
man. And it's no fault of On Air PC. This is all my doing. But we've been having a ton of fun, problem solving it, and it's just part of the process. So I'm excited.
Pope, do you have 140 plus FPS monitor yet, or is it still 60?
Look.
I'm going to assume you have a 60 FPS monitor.
It's 60.
It's definitely 60.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. He probably has like one of those 30 hertz monitors that you're just supposed to use like a data center.
Monitor. Here's the deal. I am not going to have one until I know what it means to have one. How about that?
You got to get used to the 60 so you know what the upgrade to 144 looks like. You'll see it right away, though, after you've been playing 30.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. No, fuck that.
I can only see 23.9 frames per second.
True.
So,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, we need to get him like a top tier monitor that gets like 200 hertz refresh, and then we just stick him with a 15 hertz refresh.
The guys at On Air offered that, and I'm like, they build these high end machines, and they're like, hey, we can hook you up with the Ferrari, and I'm like, no. I don't want the
Ferrari.
Always
take the Ferrari, Pope.
I don't want the Ferrari.
If somebody says, here's the keys to the Ferrari, you say, thank you.
Yo, I actually saw, random segue. I was getting ramen. And in the shopping center where the ramen is, there's a Value Village, a Dollar Tree, a smoke shop. It's clearly a high-class mall, high-class strip mall that this ramen place is in.
Keyword strip.
Yes. I look up from this delicious bowl of ramen so I can take in my surroundings, and I see a neon green Ferrari pulling up. I'm like,
neon green.
Except he stops outside the Dollar Tree. Person gets out of Ferrari, goes into Dollar Tree. I'm like, okay, now I'm just interested. And I move seats to the window.
How do you think
sometimes you're budget conscious?
That's how he has the Ferrari.
Yeah,
everything.
He's getting Dollar Tree toilet paper.
Exactly.
Oh God, no! I'd rather have the Pinto with real toilet paper.
Dollar Tree toilet paper, and not even like a lot of it. Like the 4-pack, not even like the 16-pack. The 4-pack of Dollar Tree. This guy is
making life decisions that I'm not so sure I could get on board with.
Have you considered the idea that maybe he stole that Ferrari?
I think you guys are making judgments here.
That might have been a hot Ferrari, just to let you know.
Well,
it could have been.
You guys want to talk a little bit about Destiny? We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do it. That stream though.
That reveal stream though.
Woo! It was smoking.
I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah.
It looks very pretty.
It does. Real talk on an artistic level, on an artistic level, and what they've actually built and are presenting as new Destiny 2 content. I am actually very excited to not only play the public event, but also the Infinite Forest. Those look very cool.
And just explore Mercury.
Yeah.
Like, Mercury looks dope, and it just the way it's formatted and the way it's set up just looks so different than anything we've seen on any other planet.
Mm-hmm.
But that stream didn't go over well.
No, it didn't. Woo.
I left that stream worried. And this is the first time I have actually been worried about Destiny since its release.
Well, let's unpack
and not
Why?
like since its release, but just like in general. First off, so Mercury, what we've seen of it, and what they've the impressions that they've given from. I read Destin's impressions. I watched some of the other videos from some of the other creators who were there. That patrol space looks very small. Well,
yeah,
it looks very small to the point where I'm like, is this all we're getting? Like, is it just that one area?
Like,
or are there
IO small?
Like Titan small.
Or small,
Titan small. Titan small, and honestly, smaller than Titan.
No, that's really small.
It looks like there's one major hub area with a social space on top that then leads to adventures in the Infinite Forest.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like. But I'm worried about main area if the adventures are only accessible when doing adventures or something.
Yeah, it's
very limiting. I'm not. It's very limiting. The public event that looked cool. Not gonna lie.
Can we before we start picking it apart? Can we spend some time to talk about maybe the things that we were?
Why don't we just recap what was in it? Right.
Yeah.
Let's just go over what was in it. So the first thing they showed was they went to the lighthouse. They showed how. You can now have, was it 11 quests to get new weapons? They were the weapons they've been showing off this whole time.
Yeah.
That are kind of Vex.
Weapons.
An unfortunate choice of words, I would say. But these weapons are pretty cool looking. They have this kind of Vex kind of modification system going on. They're familiar weapons, but modified in a similar sort of vein to what we saw with Siva infected weapons.
Sure.
But with a more Vex theme. And they look cool. You're going to be able to basically start quests to get these things. And, you'll have to do, 2 strikes and, one public event. And then you'll get, the materials you need to go to this forge.
It seemed a little thin.
Forge the weapon.
It seemed a little thin. That forging process, I feel, based on if that's the extent of it.
If they had not used the word forge, if they had just used the word quest, I think it would have been less of an issue. But by using the word forge and what that word brings with it, I think it sets false expectations for what that was going to be.
Everybody was like, "Oh, forging weapons. This is an end game possibility." Think of the even Goth. His response blew up.
Yeah,
and it was essentially talking about how this was the perfect opportunity to introduce random rolls because of the Vex having infinite possibilities that they can generate. Yeah. And instead, it's just literally quest items to get legendaries.
Yeah, out of the infinite possibilities, we get a hand cannon with pulse monitor on it.
Yes. But that infinite probability led you to that one weapon.
Yeah, it led us to that one weapon.
It would lead you to that weapon that you would immediately be like, this is trash. Let me use this other weapon, which was the right weapon you should be using in the first place.
Everything I've seen about the weapon. So I got a question for you guys. If it's supposed to be a Vex-themed weapon where it's been a weapon that's been altered with Vex technology, but the end result is still the same as another legendary weapon that you would get from the gunsmith, what the fuck's the point of it being aesthetically different?
Where's my Vex juice? I want Vex things. Right?
Is it gonna? Are there going to be? I don't know. Are there going to be hidden perks on it? I don't know. But everything that I saw on it, it's like, this is just another legendary weapon from the gunsmith. I definitely like that we have a quest. This is how to go get it. Cool. You have a pathway to do it. It's not just RNG. I like that part of it. But at the same time, it's Vex themed weapon, but only themed. But thematically,
I think they need to explore, and I think it's early. I think that this DLC was being built and planned and worked on far before Destiny 2 came out, and the response that Destiny fans have had to, the end game and how, the token system and how that stuff works is not going to be reflected in this DLC because it's just, it's just not physically possible.
That won't be until year 2 for sure. Yeah. Like you said, this was being developed side by side with the vanilla game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Most definitely.
It's technically more Destiny 2 content. Things that we've already expected.
To expect, different roles on weapons in this DLC, I think is a tall order. I don't think it's a realistic ask. To be honest with you, I just don't think it's realistic. At this point, we are definitely trying to we're trying to communicate to Bungie that we're upset and that we want, things to change, but and we're impatient, but you can't expect content that they worked on before we started complaining to reflect the complaints.
But it's hard for your average gamer to recognize that. They don't have that mentality, unfortunately.
Agreed. But that's the facts. That's how it is. With DLC 2, hopefully they'll have more time to start changing these things with Season 2, with Season 3, as they, make changes to the games going forward. But it's just too quick. It's too quick for Bungie to have reacted to what they saw in complaints, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks after the game's launch.
I feel like they could have some quality of life things that are coming that would help
with
a little bit.
With Season 2 that they haven't mentioned, maybe.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned much anything in that direction.
Because Crucible Radio's already recorded a podcast with Sandbox people.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to listening to that.
That'll be
more
interesting.
than watching any of these streams.
Yeah.
Crucible Radio.
There wasn't Sandbox people.
Huh? John Wisniewski was on that.
Is weapons, but not Sandbox.
Weapons are part of the Sandbox. Yes.
Yeah, but he's specifically weapons. I just want to be specific about what he was talking about.
Sandbox designer, but whatever.
Pope's going to be talking about right there.
Well, I think
this is not an interesting conversation. Let's move on.
It is. I think it's very interesting to see what.
Thanks
people
for
are
the
expecting.
minutia being split. Appreciate the details on that.
The next thing we got to see from the live stream. Do you guys want to talk about the Forge anymore?
That pretty much nails it. I do want to say though, in terms of actual weapons that come with this DLC, if they are going to maintain this path, and I hope that they had made plenty of weapons, if they were going down this road, that this DLC gets at least 50, if not 100 new legendary weapons. Like we have about 160 in the game right now, right? Somewhere around there. So if we get an influx of 50 to 100 new legendaries plus some exotics, then at least that will help tide things over for a bit.
Yeah. Are you thinking they're going to add to the existing loot pool or replace it?
I'm hoping they add.
I hope they'd add to it.
Exactly. Yeah. In fact, what they need to do, they're bringing heroics. They said the heroic adventures, heroic strikes. Yep. Was there anything else? No, we have heroic public events already. What I'm really, really hoping is that they set aside a set of gear that will drop from these heroics exclusively. Yeah. And they're not going to come from the engrams, not going to come from the weaponsmith. They need to drop from these things, so there's a reason to go into a heroic adventure, which they said is going to have modifiers that are going to change. There needs to be a reason that is loot inspired to go in there, and I don't want to go get tokens. That's boring.
Yes, I agree. We cannot have another prestige raid situation where, great, you guys designed this really difficult activity that gives us basically rewards we don't care about, so nobody fucking does it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Great, you design this awesome endgame activity with these heroic adventures, but nobody's doing it because there's no fucking reason.
And here's part of the problem, is that those tokens are in essence, in their idea, a good idea, in that they're a response to us wanting to have this earned system where we can then share the economy among our characters and redeem them on a different character to get loot for that specific character. So in essence, they're a good idea and a good what I feel is a good quality of life thing for raiders. But what they did is they took away the desire to go back in there and get different things, because you're going to get those relatively quickly. Everything the raid has to offer, you're going to get relatively quickly. How many times do you need to run the raid to get everything that is offered?
You don't. I'm still trying to get the goddamn sniper and hand cannon.
Actually,
my first raid run, I got the Titan Mark 3 times.
Pope, I'll be perfectly honest with you. You don't have to run the raid at all. You just have to let your clan do it. Pop that engram. Over 3 months, you have everything.
That's true. That's how I got the sword finally.
Everybody's sins of the past came from an engram from the clan.
The next thing they showed off in the live stream was the patrol. So there's a new public event. And they actually showed video footage of this. They said they didn't want to have the live stream just sitting there waiting for the public event to spawn in. So they actually showed us video footage of the public event. And I got to say, the public event, as far as public events go, this one looks pretty dope.
Looks badass.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving parts. The heroic version, they didn't show exactly how to trigger it, but it looked like there was, basically a lot to do. It looked like it was, as far as public events go, pretty in depth.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also mentioned, 4 times before that, this is going to be the most rewarding public event ever. And in a video, a pre-recorded video, they showed the rewards being 2 chests, each one with a token and one with a blue rare item in it.
But there was a left chest and a right chest.
Was 2 chests, guys. 2 chests.
You get to pop them both.
It was there. I could feel the collective groan of the Destiny community when those chests opened.
I woke up, I put my alarm, got my phone, watched it in bed, and when they said that and then 2 chests popped up, I actually sighed and laughed out loud at the same time. I was like, oh my.
I actually turned off the stream so I wouldn't have to read the comments.
You can just hide. You can just hide chat.
Yeah.
I literally just turned it off, and I'm like,
So Dado and I are we'll usually just talk to each other, type and everything while it's going on, just to make sure we get all the facts straight for the videos. We hadn't said anything to each other at this point. We hadn't even acknowledged that we were both online watching, and we both just say to each other, "LOL" at the almost the exact same time. First thing that we said to each other all day.
It was
unfortunate.
The fact that they had hyped it up. It felt so blind to what the community was asking for.
Mm-hmm.
To hype up that it's going to be more rewarding than any other public event, and it's just 2 tokens. Are you kidding me?
And I thought they were going to go to these events having a strike and chest, where stuff would pop out and go.
That would be awesome.
That's what I thought they were going to with the Curse of Osiris. It's just that we would see that type of reward system where you would see the stuff come out and you'd go and gather it. But just to see them open it and get so little, it just felt it's unfortunate.
Disconnected.
It's pre-recorded too. Hell, even
right?
Mesa Sean, he posted a picture or posted a little clip on Twitter of him when he got to play it, and he opened it up and got an exotic, a legendary, a blue, and tokens, and it's
that sounds rewarding to me.
That sounds fucking
awesome.
rewarding.
Those are technically rewards. Yeah.
Let me go buy the DLC.
I mean, it's possible that the loot pool in general has been expanded for public events, and they're just showing your run-of-the-mill rewards. There could be other things that are sprinkled in there. Obviously, there's rewards you get for the Forge table. It's just extremely disconnected to show those rewards of just saying the most rewarding public event. They should have just put the chests on there and then not popped them.
Yeah.
Just be like, what's behind those chests?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the mistake was not the chests themselves and what was in them, but to emphasize how rewarding it was going to be.
Yes, that was the mistake.
If it's going to contain, tokens.
Yeah. So they messed up, and obviously there's other chests that you're going to play and you're going to get rewarding events. It's RNG based, just like the rest of the game. And I don't know how many times I've been in that situation where everybody in your fire teams, I got an exotic, I got and then you're sitting there going,
rock.
Oh, I got
2 tokens in a
I got a token.
So everybody's been in that position. So, it's just unfortunate that they chose that to air. I mean,
I'll be honest too. I don't even mind the tokens coming from public events. The chance to get exotics and legendary out of public events is actually pretty good, considering the time investment that it takes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's just that it was just the emphasis they put on it. It was just I don't know.
And I feel like we know, we've been around this game and this game community long enough to kind of just, as a family, you got to kind of call bullshit on stuff, and you're just, they kind of screwed up a little bit, but it's no big deal, man. So
I also think it was concerning to some members of the community that they chose in a 1 hour live stream. It was less than 1 hour, but they, in a live stream that was supposed to show off like all the new cool things we're going to be doing, they showed a public event, and they showed it to completion. Like, is this a significant chunk of this DLC? I think that was somewhat concerning too. Just the fact that a public event made it into the live stream.
Yeah, they said they're adding a public event, and it's the largest one they've ever made. That would have been a great surprise to see, like, oh, you boost across, and you slam this, and you boost back, and there's all these components. Because if they make more of that stuff, I think that's going to be really great for the open world aspect of Destiny 2. Imagine maybe a month later or 2 months later, as a free update, they drop a new public event into EDZ that has a big world boss that expands areas and all that. That stuff is very exciting. But the content is not the problem of Destiny 2 right now. It's the reward system in the end game.
Replayability.
Yeah. Yep. I was saying this in stream also. That
it's the motivation to actually go and do the content.
Exactly.
That's really the problem.
For sure.
Yeah, I was saying this in my stream last night, that if we had seen that public event on a Bungie live stream back in July of this year, we would have freaked out. Would have been like, that's a public event in Destiny 2? This is so different from what we played in D1. But the rewards, aren't D1 level.
Yeah. It was a cool looking public event, though. In all fairness, it's a public event. Then they went and showed the Infinite Forest. So if you had any questions about the Infinite Forest, I think we could pretty much clean up exactly what that is now, right? It's a series of curated rooms, I would say, that are going to be basically put together by the live team, I would assume. And it's going to be different week to week. You'll go in there, you'll complete it with your fire team. It was about the length of a strike, I would say. And you get rewards at the end of it. It's an adventure. It's going to be different, right? They can move the blocks around. They can move the...
I thought it was different like each time.
They said every time you go into it, it's a different experience.
Okay, so for how many possibilities?
We don't know, but they said every time.
Basically, it's the equivalent of having a bunch of Legos, and you can put them. They made these each sections, and they can just kind of fit together.
Yeah,
randomly.
It's not completely procedurally generated, but it's like chunk generated.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just constantly just moving blocks around.
So it sounded like there was no.
You'll never.
It was all curated.
They're saying that you'll never see the same thing
everything
twice.
Together. They said that.
Yes.
Yeah, they said. Yeah.
Okay.
They have all 4 races. Enemy races are in there as well.
Yep.
So you'll be able to see more Hive, Fallen, Cabal, all that stuff, and Vex.
I'm not playing it unless there's Taken. I love the Taken. If I could just get Taken every night.
I knew I hated you.
I don't know. It seemed cool to me. It definitely wasn't as complex as I was kind of hoping for, to be honest with you. I was hoping for kind of like a smaller team-based endgame activity with really cool rewards.
Yeah.
And it looks like strikes with, kind of...
I was hoping it was going to be a horde mode style thing.
Horde mode, yeah. I was kind of hoping
horde would be really cool.
Yeah, the biggest concern...
They keep flirting with it, but they never do it.
The biggest concern I have is that these are triggered via adventures. And we all know how we look at adventures right now.
AKA we don't.
Yeah, it's like when you're leveling up a character, you might hit an adventure too. But then beyond that, unless you want the Sondoc C, there's no reason to do any adventures.
And that's so frustrating.
Points.
Why?
There's so much story context to them. They're so story driven, and they put so much work into it. But when they're not rewarding, there's nothing there for you to do.
Yep.
What do they have to do to make us go do those?
Give you cool drops.
Yeah.
Specific adventure drops, just like there was strike specific drops in D1 that you'd have to go and grind for. Like, give me adventure specific drops that you can only get from grinding adventures.
I can guarantee you guys. I can guarantee you that the most run adventure in Destiny 2 right now is the Exodus Siege adventure for the Sondoc C, because it guarantees the Sondoc C drop. Now, imagine if you could get the Antiope from that, but it was like a 5% chance of it dropping every time you completed it, and it refreshed every week or whatever.
I'd play it.
I'd be doing it
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't have an Antiope. I'd love to get one.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to grind an adventure to do it. The adventures are great, man. The story is great.
They're great content.
It's awesome. It's just there's no reason to do it once you've seen it once.
Yeah, the difficulty level that I saw was lacking. I don't know if that was because it was like the level of it or what, but I don't know. It's a very casual, very, very casual romp through a thing to kill the end boss. Was the first off, the Infinite Forest section seemed to have no bearing on like what happened on the end section. You go through this curated but random little section, killing stuff rather easily. There didn't seem to be any like objectives or anything you had to do. You just kill everything. Make it to the end. You get teleported to like past, present, or future, and then there's the equivalent of like one of the not public event dudes coming down, but a target, like one the captain, the target,
like HVT, a high value target.
A high value target. Sorry, can't think. High value target in an area. The equivalent of that is at the end. You get a chest, you open it, you get some stuff. It's
well, you might get a piece of something for the forge because they said that those are random chances. So you need to run this content to get the pieces to do all the forge stuff in the lighthouse.
Okay. Still though,
yeah.
The overall activity just didn't feel
when they said forge,
engaging.
It really reminded me of something that you see in zombies in Call of Duty, where you have the tables, the workbenches, and in my mind, I thought that we would get specific forge items that we could use in that play space in the Infinite Forest, like cool shields, and like we could gather and forge together an item that we could take into the Infinite Forest with us to help fight, whether it be a shield or some other item that we could use in there. And I think you're right. The use of the word forged in my mind really kind of brought up a totally different set of expectations.
Yeah, the language you use is important, and they know that. And it's surprising to see him make such a misstep here because it brings a set of huge expectations with it that they had no intention of meeting.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know yet because we haven't played it.
That is true. I mean,
that's true.
The big mystery right now about this DLC is how it's going to change the end game, and we're right now assuming that it's going to be like a ½ inch of depth that's going to be added to the end game, just a light dusting of water that drops in there. Maybe there's going to be new additional forge items that happen every month, because it's going to take 4 weeks to be able to get all these forge weapons. There's 3 each week, so by the 4th week, you're going to have everything collected. Maybe they'll refresh that stuff. Maybe it'll be a thing where, this month they're changing up the forge weapons and introducing other things for those quests. Probably not. I feel like every time we come up with something creative, it's just a bit too outside the realm for them to put into the game.
Yeah. One thing that we should also keep in mind is that with DLC 1 comes Season 2. In Season 2, there may be changes that they're not talking about in association with DLC because these changes are coming free for everybody, they're not associated with the DLC because you don't have to pay to get them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't build up any hopes about that because we don't have any evidence that it's happening. But it is worth kind of keeping that in the back of your mind is that Season 2 is coming in association with this DLC. And there could be changes associated with that.
Absolutely. And I'm expecting some discussion of that next week when they do the final stream.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Did we talk everything? Did we talk about everything that was in that stream?
I feel like
there's 3 strikes that are also coming as
well. Was it 3? I thought it was 2.
Is it 2? I thought there's one. Oh, the story one becomes then a normal strike that you play through.
Okay.
So I guess 2. But yeah, so there's a strike that is a part of the Curse of Osiris story, and then once you're done with that, then it joins the strike playlist.
Okay.
So
people were back and forth on that topic, and some felt that it was, reusing content, and other people felt like about time. I really don't want to be running. I don't want every time I play a strike in the strike playlist to have it be somebody doing a speed run, right? Because that's how it feels like. But I almost feel like they should have just simply, instead of doing it the way they're doing it now, just simply made it that the strike didn't have to have matchmaking in it. The strike playlist, you just shouldn't have to play.
Your first time through it in the story, you play it for the story, not for
you don't
speed run and loop.
Yeah, or if you happen to just, I'm assuming the campaign will be co-op too.
Sure.
So whatever, but no, the big part is it's story missions. So if you're running the strike, yes, it is still a story mission, but it's been scaled up for 3 people. So, you actually know what's going on in the story. It's not just, I can't really tell you what's going on in a lot of the strikes. I can't tell you why we, on Titan, why we had to go stop that thing. All I know is that, hey, just go there. Basically on all of them, I don't really know. They just say, hey, go here, do this.
I'm with you, Patrick, because the only time I ever run them is for the Nightfall, and I'm too busy to listen to shit. I'm communicating with my fire team trying to get through the Nightfall.
Yeah.
Even the bosses don't make sense. Like the cloaking bastard on the X is black. Like,
that guy's a real dick.
Why is he there? Like,
I don't know. Why does he disappear? Stand there and fight me like a man.
Why can't we do anything to stop it, or halt it in any sort of way? Why is this such an uninteractive fight?
I'll be honest. I think on every strike, they actually give you enough information to know what's going on if you listen to the dialogue.
Yeah, they do.
It's just us as streamers hardly pay attention to that stuff because we're trying to interact with chat and also our fire team and all that.
But it's not playing into the story, like the bigger picture, if you will. Like they all have their own individual,
like
very small. Yeah, exactly. They're their own stories, but they don't play into the big picture of Destiny.
Right.
I almost feel like I would kind of disagree with that, because I feel like the strikes do in their own way progress their story just a little bit, and it kind of fits into the bigger picture. But for me personally, as somebody that likes to grind strikes, I like to listen to the story and not skip the cutscenes and kill everybody in a room before I move on. And so the option of not having a bunch of jackalopes, pushing ahead, and I think that's great, and it's a good quality of life.
I'm going to join it every time I see you in a strike. I'm going to join and kill everything and speed run it.
You would do that, Patrick.
Yes, I would. I'm doing you a favor.
Personally, I think it's smart that they put the strikes in the story, so it has that. Because if imagine that tank level was actually a strike, and you could replay that tank level with 3 people.
Yeah,
I have
organized.
Played that with 2 people, and it is super fun like that.
It's one of the best missions in the game.
Yeah,
as a strike,
the tanks the tanks have collision with each other. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Flip around.
Yeah,
they do fun stuff.
That reminds me of the when we used to have in Halo the Forge world, and we'd create like tank on tank battles and stuff like that. It's it just the possibilities for us to be able to have a legit Forge world or Forge system, putting up against some of the physics or some of the game assets they have right now. It just really bends to that possibility. What could be, in year 7.
Year 7 of Destiny. The community is still salty, but for a different reason.
Same salty flavor.
I'm really looking forward to getting the DLC. Like I'm really looking forward to it, because we get a new mission, we get new content, and that's great. I think the community as a whole is expecting more out of this DLC than what they could possibly provide, and I think it's important for us to curb our expectations, because you got to realize that this was in development far before we started making these big asks for changes to the end game.
Totally.
I think we will see that stuff change, but it's going to be a while.
You're also, I think a lot of them are also coming off of that end from Rise of Iron, where there was so much content. There was so much inside Destiny, and then to come back into a base vanilla game is a very shocking experience, because you're dealing with the base game where there's all that content you had in Destiny 1 is no longer there, because you had years and years to build upon that. And so maybe because of just there was a very little gap in between the last DLC and D2. Maybe that's why their expectations are just so high. They forgot what it was like in year 1 for Destiny.
Well, it's really hard to expect anything from a developer when you got all these hotshot developers like Epic Games out there putting out updates after 2 days from concerns in the community. Ruin it. It's like the person like when you're going into class in college and the professor says, "Hey, we're grading on a curve," and everyone's like, "Sweet!" And you got that one guy who studies really hard and works his ass off and gets 100 and fucks everyone over. You got developers out there putting out updates and like stuff that other developers can't even possibly keep up with.
I definitely have
expectations are shattered.
I definitely have a comment on this because for the first 3 months of Destiny 2, I can kind of give Bungie a pass. Now I know, take it with a grain of salt, guys. Don't be pitchforking me. I'm just saying, kind of give them a pass because they had to bring PC online, all right, and get ready for the DLC. So I understand the first 3 months being like an all hands on deck. Let's get the third platform online, and then also let's get DLC ready to go and have questionable streams about the content. Beyond that, though, I swear to God, if they don't react faster to the sandbox with minutia changes, like pulse nades could have easily been adjusted in the sandbox. Just like slow the tick rate down a little bit or just adjust the damage slightly. Like within 2 weeks, they could have easily done that, and they haven't. And so if going forward beyond this DLC, they are not actually making serious changes and talking about how they're going to adjust the sandbox slightly here and there, then what was the whole point of making a new Destiny aside from wanting to reboot it and get more sales for it? Like the whole point was we're going to make a new sandbox and we're going to be able to adjust things quicker because we don't have the legacy consoles on our in our history anymore. Like we're going to have more tools available to us to make the content quicker and all that. Well, it's been 3 months, so if getting all the platforms online and doing the DLC doesn't fix that, and we're not getting updates quicker, then what the hell?
I vividly recall a comment being made about it being easier. It might have been like one of the IGN interviews. I can't remember where it was from, but they stated that if all the weapons have all the same or fixed rolls, it's gonna be a lot easier for us to balance stuff. Like I felt like it was implied that it could be quicker, but I don't know. I can't remember the exact statement, so I'm not gonna try to put words in their mouth.
This game cannot have 6 months, 9 months of the same meta.
No.
Well, I think that's what the seasons are, right? Is they're planning on adjusting the sandbox 4 times every year.
And that they did make mention of that. Like that was the whole reason for those seasons, is that they are able to drastically make those changes when need be. And it's a good idea. But I mean, like you're right. I mean, to see a developer from another game make changes so quickly and then to be locked into something for so long it's very frustrating. But I don't like I feel like you're looking at it in different scales as well. Like Destiny has one change could drastically change everything else, whereas with other games they're on a much smaller scale and a tweak here and there isn't really going to break the game as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So
see, that's the thing though, like seasonal changes, if they want to make a shift in the meta with each season, like that's one thing to me. But with Last Hope feeling the way it is and with Pulse Nades feeling the way it is in the Crucible, like those could have easily just been adjusted slightly to not make them as gross as they are in the Crucible.
But I'm with Tefty.
No, I agree, but why do you think they're taking so long? Is it because they feel like it's going to make some weird change to the PvE side?
So, if that is the case, they need to be more communicative. They need to tell us that, hey, we hear these things, we're aware of it, but there's issues that are preventing. Like, if they don't tell us, then we're just going to make stuff up and assume. And we're going to assume.
So at the end of the day, it's the lack of transparency from the developers
100%.
that is the issue.
Mm-hmm. In my opinion, like if they said like, hey, we can't do this to Pulse Nades right now because it's going to create this ricochet effect that is also going to affect PvE, even though we should split those apart, but that's a different discussion, then I'd be a little more like, okay, well, I see. There's, like, remember the heavy ammo bug that apparently was layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer down to the bottom that they had to pull all kinds of stuff apart to fix? Yeah.
That's frustrating because they put the TWAB out every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is that. Like,
I think they skipped it this week.
But they literally have a platform for them to sit there and talk to the community, even though it's through written word. Like they have that platform that is established and well known where they can talk. So at the end of the day, does it come down to Activision legal where they're like, we can't say that, you can't say that yet? Like I wonder if it's just a lot of people on walls they can't break through.
Shit, Timmy, it's reality is that they had a live stream this week.
Yeah. Like that's another platform they could have used to talk to people.
Lots of people were watching it, which a lot less than.
What are these live streams for? Who are they?
Who are they targeting?
Yeah,
that's my question.
Like, is the people who watch these things are your most hardcore fans, but it doesn't seem like you're speaking to them at all.
Yeah,
it feels like they're trying to sell people on the DLC even more. Like showing you all the cool stuff, here's all this stuff that you can do, and no, I really don't get when I watch this. I don't get who it's for. You have the chat filled with people that are talking about, like they've already purchased, they already have it. They want to know about their concerns, and then the stuff. I feel like they could do one live stream and just tell us about the sandbox changes. And that would be infinitely more beneficial to the community than showing a bunch of the activities.
They could have put 2 minutes of that live stream into a video.
That's what I'm saying.
Sent it off to GameStop and IGN and all that. That would have been fine. And then done like a 20-minute sandbox stream that would have made people gush over them because they're listening and doing changes to it. But instead, we're kind of left wondering, okay, well, the two token thing made us go, are you actually listening to your community? Like, do you realize that the token system is bad?
Yeah. That's,
right?
That's where
I don't know. It's a rough week to be in the Destiny community, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Bungie's got their own agenda. It's like going back to who is this for? Like, who is it for? Because are they trying to sell the DLC? Is that what they're trying to do? Because everybody in that chat seems to have already bought it. They bought they own the DLC. They bought the season pass. So like who? Anyway,
weird, right? One thing that
it's a little weird.
So back to the sandbox thing. They mentioned in the TWAB that they acknowledge that hunters with those pants aren't using recovery, right?
Yes, that was nice to see. Yeah, I was just.
But it's been 3 months, Briar.
Still, it was nice to see.
It's nice that they said, hey, we're acknowledging that the hunter boots are having a problem. But again, it's like, this is, I don't know.
At least they're really fast. They have really high mobility, though.
True.
So.
You're right, Tim. Looking on the bright side, man.
They can't hit you if you're moving really fast, right?
Yeah.
Don't get Patrick started on this.
Patrick, get us started on something else.
He resubbed to World of Warcraft.
Oh my God.
That was your segue, Pat.
I know. I refuse because there's still one more thing I wanted to talk about before we move into a different section.
What is
it? There was a post on Reddit called it. If everyone likes your game but no one loves it, it will fail. And this is a quote by Mark Rosewater, who is the lead designer of Magic the Gathering.
Oh my God, Magic cards.
Yeah.
Is this where the rest of us go to the bathroom, get a coffee?
If you want to, but the point is, Mark Rosewater has been designing this game he's been the lead designer basically for 20 years on Magic the Gathering.
Sounds unqualified to talk about Endgame, sorry.
Yeah, unqualified to talk about gaming or anything or investments at all. But he gave a talk at GDC a while ago that I'm going to put in the link of the description. If you have, like, the stuff that he talks about can be related to literally anything in life. It's not just game design. So I'm going to put that in the link to the description of the podcast on YouTube. Please go listen to it. It's one of the more interesting discussions about game design, and you may learn something about yourself too.
There's 100 different ways they could fix the game, but right now we need to hear that we are fixing the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the systems and what they're going to do to change them. It's about we acknowledge your complaints and we are working towards a goal. That's the problem. Like, that's what we want to hear in this week's TWAB. That's what we want to hear on the live stream.
I mean, like, what, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we had Christopher Barrett come into the TWAB and say, here's a list of stuff that, like, they're acknowledging, that they're working on. So we as a community generally have, like, about a 1 week memory span.
True enough.
So far. You know, we're all doom and gloom right now. I'm being uber fucking negative this podcast, but that was only because, 24 hours ago, there was a stream where the most rewarding thing had 2 tokens in it. Go back 4 weeks, all the stuff that we've been complaining about has been basically acknowledged, addressed in the TWAB. So, guarantee you they're working on it.
Yeah, they acknowledge it in a nebulous type of sense. They're like, these things we're looking at and we can't give you an ETA on. Now that we're getting closer to a major release, they have to be more communicative about it. They have to say, hey, we are still aware of this. And some of these are and are not going to be in this update. And we want to let you know that quality of life stuff is coming down the road. They have to switch their mindsets from marketing speech, which basically those live streams were this combination of marketing towards hardcore players, which was not the thing they need to do. They need to have their hardcore player discussion and then their marketing team be not trying to transfer between hardcore player and marketing, because it doesn't come across at all.
Have you noticed that the audiences have been much lower in the streams?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the interest or the people of the hardcore group of over 100,000 plus watching it, and then less and less. I mean, did you see him over 50,000 watching?
I don't. I have it on full screen, so I can record it. So I don't.
Thought I saw 60,000. Just
to my point is that, like, that number should be an idea of their hardcore audience and their interest level in the game right now.
Sure.
To them. Mm-hmm. And that should be concerning to them.
Can we talk a little bit about Iron Banner? Because Iron Banner's this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say I've been having a blast with Iron Banner. It might not be a popular opinion. I know it wasn't when I said it on Twitter today. But I played like 8 hours today. I played about 4 hours yesterday. And granted, I am playing on a PC, and learning mouse and keyboard is part of why I'm having such a great time, because I can see progress day to day. But I got to say, I am having a blast with Iron Banner, just playing PvP, looking for rewards. The token system still sucks in Iron Banner. We know they're fixing that in Season 2. I played 8 hours today. I got 2 armor drops for 8 hours of play. 8 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very rewarding, but I've been having the same experience. I've really been enjoying the PC side of it, and just if you play with the team, obviously you have a different experience than solo queuing. I played a lot yesterday.
Yeah, but I played with a team for half the day and played solo for half the day, and I always have both fun in both days. Obviously, when I play solo, I have got a chat, that I'm talking to the whole time.
For sure.
You're never really solo, but
did you get Time War Inspire? The Pulse
rifle.
I don't know.
It's really good on PC. I was using it last night.
Yeah.
I
don't like Pulse rifles on PC. I don't know why. Like, there's something about them that
Vigilance Wing, Nurgle, and now Time War Inspire. Them's are pretty nice. I like them.
Link. I can nominate Link and
I can't get away from the hand cannons when I play on PC. Like, I just always want to be using a hand cannon. The minuet, man.
Crispy.
Yeah.
God damn, I was playing with the minuet today. I had like a big shit-eating grin on all day.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that think Annual Skate is as good or better. It's not. Trust me. Minuet is definitely one of the best energy weapons out there. Energy hand cannons. Yeah. What I find is that
devil.
There's so many weapons in with PC that you can just keep on swapping out and just have fun with. For me,
yeah, the meta is much more open.
It feels that way, even though it's technically the same sandbox. So after I get done with a certain loadout, I just switch another. Although I do like the Sondok. I have a tough time getting away from that.
Yeah, I got the Sondok too. I really like the Minuet Sondok combination.
That's nice. That's a good combo. You get
super fun.
Kill clip with that menu or the sound dock. Oh my god.
Come up against a T-4 who are using like auto rifles or Midas though in long lanes, and it could be a challenge.
Yeah. Yep.
I've had a rough time with going up against a lot of teams that were just playing really passive, like just sitting in the back.
Yeah. But then if you can get to them, you just like wipe them out. Like you do a team wipe once you.
I'm a big fan of the better devils and don't use another damn thing loadout. It's pretty good, pretty versatile.
Strong. It's strong.
Yeah, it's strong.
I was surprised that I didn't see people talking about Iron Banner on my Twitter feed. It snuck up on me, and I was just surprised that it was even there.
You think it's because everybody already went through that on console already?
Probably.
And so people are just kind of like, we've already seen it, so whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was certainly like not as much of a, I got to play a couple games, but other than that, I mean, it was a surprise that it was on.
The Destiny sphere was very much dominated by the live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Like when people were talking Destiny this week, I feel like it was very much about the live stream, about Curse of Osiris. Rise of Iron Banner was not on most people's mind.
Yeah,
I was on at reset for Iron Banner, and there was a really big oh shit moment, because for about the first 5 minutes, it was Iron Banner supremacy.
What? Really?
Yeah, it was supremacy, and I completely went through like all the stages of grief of like I went denial, anger. I don't know, but at the end you lead to acceptance, and I accepted that I was not going to do Iron Banner that week. Yeah.
I need that armor.
And then it just switched.
I want those weapons.
It swapped pretty quickly. It was about it was like flip flopping back. Like I was hearing reports that on console it was fine in Clash, and then it swapped over to Supremacy. Then it swapped back on European servers. It was just fine across the board. On American, it was like Supremacy and some other stuff. It was really weird, but after about 30 minutes, it was fine.
Huh. That is weird.
Very odd.
I don't mind Supremacy that much. I'll be honest with you. Like, especially now that they've shortened the games, it's pretty fun. I like it. I don't like it as much as Control, but it's fine.
Yeah. Because, no doubt you've noticed these wild mics and headphones that we're using.
Nailed it.
Just some of the iconic gear that Blue creates. Blue's award-winning products are the driving force behind professional musicians, internet creators, and countless elite gaming teams. And
I just want to call
streamers.
attention to that transition.
It was a good segue.
Great segue.
You could use some lube first.
Popular microphone,
right?
Their Yeti USB mic is the NSO's popular microphone. Their Sadie and Lola headphones deliver insane sound, a very personalized fit. Blue offers everything you need to completely immerse yourself in the ultimate gameplay experience. Learn more about Blue at bluemic.com.
That was rough.
AF.
You might as well pulled out some sandpaper on that one.
Oh my god!
Like
driving
a stick shift, and not even using a clutch, just rip that thing into the next gear.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
I'm opening up the Twitter questions right now.
But you know what is smooth? The great feeling of my of the sticks on my Scuf controller.
Oh no! Tefty, let's talk about maybe somebody else doing ad reads in the future. What do you think?
Paddles on the back.
So honestly.
Well, yeah. Let's get Watts.
Ad reads. This allows me to be a professional at something in life.
Hey, Holtz, can you use a Scuf controller in Fortnite?
Can you use a Scuf controller in Fortnite?
Yes, you can.
Oh man, that's really cool. If you want to play Fortnite or any game that supports a controller on PC or console, like Xbox or PlayStation 4. I don't know which Xbox is out there.
Good God, just end it already. This is so painful to watch.
This is. I'm usually not on this podcast.
Is droning on. Oh my God.
5% off, baby.
Oh my God.
He's having a seizure while we're watching this.
Now,
I wanted to actually ask Tim.
Your pets. Please do change the subject.
I want to ask Tim actually. What do you recommend concerning Fortnite? Because have we actually? We didn't really talk about Fortnite on the podcast.
We haven't yet.
I mean, I've played a little bit of Battle Royale. I played a little bit offline, and I played some last night. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's a great game mode. I actually played Fortnite PvE first when it first came out. I enjoyed that up until the grind wall hit, where it was the progression is so difficult. But I have a question on key mappings. What's the best way so I can wall up immediately and then go back to my weapons with mouse and keyboard?
I use wall and ramps on my mouse.
Okay.
So for me, my forward mouse button is ramp, and my back mouse button is wall. So, because those are usually your two primary ones you're using, especially in a firefight. I had a crazy 1v4. It clutched a game where it was just nothing but walls and ramps. And so when you're fighting somebody, if you take a shot and then throw a wall down right in front of them, and then you ramp up over it, that throws them off. They don't know what the heck's happening. So if you're able to do that very quickly with your mouse while you're still changing your weapons with your numbers on your keyboard, it's very, very easy to do that.
That sounds amazing. Your camera just went off, just to let you know.
Skype is on.
Skype can be a little weird. Because what I've watched from high level Fortnite play is the ability to get your loadout for endgame. So you got your assault rifle, your Splodes, and all that stuff mapped to the keys that you want, but then also being able to get into a firefight and then just immediately make a base.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very quickly just throwing walls in ramps. It's so I've building with mouse buttons, especially if people have Nagas. Mm-hmm. A lot of people saying they have Razer Nagas, they're having a really, really great time keeping all their building keys on their mouse.
Nice.
Yeah. There you go. Like that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've also found that with keeping weapons to the same number every time. Mm-hmm. So if your shotgun should always be the same number, so that you're not fiddling around with your keys trying to figure out where your weapons are at.
Okay.
So for me, my shotgun's always 2, and my rifle's always 3, sniper rifle's 4, and then Splode is on 5.
Splode is
so 5. That I always know where I'm going to be, so I'm not trying to figure out where the heck my guns are at.
Are those mapped to anything else other than the keyboard, or are you always using 2 through 5?
Yeah, so I mean I'm always flipping 2 through 5. You can some people use mouse wheel, but I'm always skipping past the one that I want to go to if I try using mouse wheel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's always number keys for me.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm loving it. I started playing it today, and
we
earlier
should do
today.
a game night. Get us all playing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I did a lot of random matchmaking with just me matching into duos and 4s, and with just random teammates that I didn't know. And it was the funnest thing. I mean, frustrating at some points because you can't talk to them, and there's all the things wrong with all of that. But at least it taught me the game, right? It was fun. And then it's definitely best played with friends, right?
Yes.
Because I invited some friends in, and we jumped in and we won our first game together. And it was just a blast, man. The communication, the maneuvering, it just seems like a more, friendly version of PUBG.
Mm-hmm.
It takes all the fun things that PUBG has, and gets rid of all the seriousness.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you building up on up a ramp, using a jump pad to fly into someone's base, to pull out a big pumpkin rocket launcher and shoot them.
Why not?
That sounds like a blast.
And then
vertical grip gives me more precision.
Oh no!
Yeah,
recoil alignment.
Yeah, and I think that's why viewers love it so much, is because it takes you 2 minutes to gear up and you're done. And then you're off to the race. You're off to the races, and you're just shooting stuff, and you're building things, and you're exploding everybody. It's great.
Awesome. Well, okay. So if you could, this might be a difficult question, but can you give me a early game, mid game, end game type of progression for what you look for in loot?
I mean, usually early game is literally anything that you get your hands on.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's usually like a pump shotgun, like a green, usually gray or green pump, and then an assault rifle, and then hopefully a sniper, if a snipe if you can find it. Usually then grenades, and then that's it. Usually late game progression, because mid kind of early and mid kind of carry into each other.
Okay.
And then so by mid game, you're finding all of the drops. So that's when your legendary weapons start to come out on the field. So towards the end, it's going to end up being a tack, like a purple tack, hopefully a scar, a sniper rifle, and then a big Splode.
Nice.
Which is your big rocket launcher. So like that's like your end game.
Makes me
and
happy how you say that.
Yeah, big Splode. Big Splode. I have to, because if I say rocket launcher, like chat like reams me for it. It's like, no, that's a Splode.
How do you manage resource collection? Because like obviously by the time you get to that point and having the ability to just amass a base like randomly because you're being shot.
It's for me, it's because of keeping a high kill count. As long as you're killing people, you're getting their resources that they've already collected.
Got it.
So I'm farming people to get the mats they farmed.
Nice.
Yep.
So like you can finish with like a 10. If you can get at least 10 kills by end game, like the last circle, you'll have enough resources to just.
So I'm that guy. I'm the guy that's giving Tim his resources because I'm the dumbass that's running around chopping down trees.
So yeah, like I won't sit around in a town and farm everything. Like I might get a little bit early on so that I can build walls for protection, but I'm literally getting resources off people.
So what you're saying is that you're the CEO and you're making other people do the work for you.
Yeah, hell yeah,
okay,
I am.
Got it. Makes sense.
I'm too busy killing people.
Yeah. No, I understand.
You gotta do what you're good at.
It's a fun game, and I like the certain aspects of it. Like, with sniper rifles, they're difficult. You have to they have bullet drop, and they have time travel for the bullet, or time that the bullet has to travel, and so you have to time your shots and lead your the person that you're trying to shoot. So it's not easy to use a sniper rifle, but when you hit the shot, it's really rewarding.
Oh, it's so crispy. And they added a new sound effect when you get headshots. It's like this ka-ching.
Oh, nice
noise, and you're like, oh, it was so good.
Positive feedback. I like it.
That's great. I think the whole building element live in combat is really fascinating because there's a definite skill gap. Like going against somebody who's not building versus going against somebody who's thrown up walls left and right and then obscuring their location because of that. It's
extremely dynamic.
Yeah, very, very dynamic. I think that's why it's more for me. I think it's more entertaining to watch than PUBG.
Yeah, well, I mean, PUBG, you're at the mercy of wherever you're at, and I could be in an open field in Fortnite, and I can create all the cover in the world as long as I have the resources to do it.
Yeah,
but sometimes PUBG you just get fucked.
PUBG, you're screwed. You're like, okay, last circle's in a wheat field. Well, I guess we're all belly crawling. Like, okay, like, so
that's great.
It is good, and it's definitely a fun game to play outside of the Destiny grind or like the Destiny gameplay. You jump over, and it's really not that hard of a transition. The only thing that I found that was a little bit offsetting from what I'm used to is that I'm a first-person shooter, and switching over to third-person was a little challenging. It made it that transition a little harder for me.
I got you, Pope. All you got to do, get good.
God damn it.
One quick, easy step of getting good, you'll be good to go. All right?
Oh, man.
Oh, one more question about Fortnite. The first season's going to end soon, right?
Yeah. It's coming to a close.
So what's entailed in a season?
So as of right now, a season, everything's cosmetic. Everything's cosmetic driven with Fortnite. So the season, you can go up to, I think it's 25 is the highest you can go. And so within a season, like then you unlock items in a season shop, but then you have to buy with V-Bucks.
Okay.
So that's really it right now. There's nothing really to grind for unless you are willing to spend money on that.
Okay.
So there are weekly leaderboards that have resets, and it's kind of weird because they're just taking just random player names, even inactive players, people who have never even played the game. They're just named just in a pool, and they throw you in these divisional leaderboards. And so in theory, you're supposed to work your way up in these leaderboards, but then there's nothing for you to get. So I think they have some beta, right? It's still in work. Yeah, they're still working on it. So I would love to see some things that you can earn. You can earn without buying it. You can get some things like there are gliders and things that you don't buy for that you can earn. Up to 25 as well. So I think at level 10 you get a new icon. At level 15 you got something, and at level 25 you then got a glider.
Okay.
So little things, but a lot of the bigger stuff, a lot of the cooler cosmetic things you had to pay for. So
Got it.
Yeah, it just depends. Like for me, like I'm already like level 75, so there's nothing after level 25 for me to work for.
Okay.
So I would like for them to do
aside
some
from
cooler
a
things
number.
towards like, yeah, exactly. You're just grinding for a number at that point.
Yeah.
You need to get on my level. I'm 11.
Nice.
I'm dominating right now.
Yeah.
I bet.
So what you're telling me is a free-to-play game has
Yes.
ranked, kind of ranked, pseudo-ranked seasons, updates regularly. Okay.
Tefty, we're having fun. Why you gotta bring us
I'm
down?
just joshing, guys. Come on. I'm just
Having a good time. If I can stick a wrench right in that.
No, it's a great game, honestly, and people should try it out and have fun with it.
It's free to play. Like
Yeah.
the only thing you're gonna lose is just a couple minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Really,
Is
if you don't like it.
Is anybody else playing? What else is it? What else are you guys playing?
I'm completely addicted to Wolfenstein 2. In fact, I'm so addicted to it that I can't play it because I know that I'm about to finish it, and I don't want to finish it. Wolfenstein 2 is the most badass, crazy-ass campaign that I've ever had.
It really is.
It's free right now.
In a
Free to
shooter.
play.
What?
Wolfenstein 2 is not free to play.
Yes, it is right now.
What?
It is.
They'll have like a free-to-play weekend, maybe.
Yeah, they're doing it right now. It's a trial. You can.
It's a demo.
You can't play the whole game, though.
It's a trial,
Oh.
so you can play the game and for free.
The words free to play means something specific.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all I'm saying is
I got
that you
excited.
can play
I know, right?
for free the game.
You can probably only
So-
play the first couple of missions for free as a trial.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then it's
Let
on
me
sale,
tell
too.
you
Can
something.
get it.
That
You
story,
can get it cheap.
that story takes you on a ride
Yeah, it does.
all the way to the end.
Yeah, it really does.
All
They have Black
the way
Friday
to the
sales.
end. It's great.
I'm glad Pope hasn't played it yet because he'd probably spoil it for me.
He would.
Yeah, I hear.
now I
hear
know I
you
gotta finish it before.
die in the
Seriously.
end.
Let's do some Twitter questions real quick. We're running out of time here. Heavy Metal Mama. What's that?
Nah, it's okay if we run out of time. Just keep going.
No, says the man. Okay.
Heavy Metal Mama says, is there a happy medium for random weapon rolls for static? Bungie couldn't balance in Destiny 1, so Destiny 2 is now static. Can't please everyone?
The happy medium is having enough loot total. So right now, like I said, there's about 160 legendaries. There needs to be 2 to 3 times that amount. And they need
Is it about the quantity or how it's obtained?
both, actually.
Both.
Like,
It's both, 100%.
if there was a little bit more loot, but it was obtained in like a more grindy fashion, not necessarily double loot, but like let's say each strike had, specific items and each adventure had specific items and that kind of thing, it wouldn't necessarily be double the loot, but it would take you a significantly longer time to get it all.
So one of the things that random rolls really had was the ability to inject personality into the game. In Mark Rosewater's lecture, which you all should definitely listen to,
We already
because it has
talked
20
about
good
this.
points in it. Lesson number 7 says, allow the players the ability to make the game personal. One of the things that Destiny 2 has lost via random rolls and armor rolls being only one thing now is the ability to make the game personal. You can't find that random gem anymore.
Wrong.
Stuff like
I
that.
can apply Callus's treasured shader on my loot.
Fantastic. It does the same thing as everyone else's. It's really just people are missing the thing that allows them to play the game differently. Not show themselves differently, really, but play it differently.
Somebody sent me a tweet. I can't remember the name, but they said that has Destiny lost the ability for somebody to main a certain subclass? Because he said that in D1 he mained Sunsinger. Like that's who he was. That was his persona in Destiny. And he could adapt the Sunsinger to the situations that were needed. And I gotta be honest, I agree. Because it's sometimes you're at a significant disadvantage if you set yourself to one subclass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's generally like a subclass that's going to be the strongest with the limitations of all of our, basically limiting all the talent pools. What Titan spec are you going to play in PvE? It's probably Striker, because pulse grenades are amazing. For Hunters, probably Night Stalker or Arc Strider maybe, but you're using Raiden Flux chest piece for Arc Strider. Sunsinger or Warlocks, you're definitely using Arc Buddy. or Devour spec.
But on top of that, the subclasses themselves are going to pretty much they're going to be identical to everybody. And in D1 you could have variations and be like, I like to use this skill with this skill because it's just my preference. I like how it procs, you know.
I was a golden gun hunter. Like that was my identity as a hunter.
We remember
as a player. Yeah. And now I'm just like my hunter doesn't feel like it's part of my identity anymore. It's just I'm using this because it sucks the least.
It was one of the most surprising things to me when we first saw the talent trees at the DRE was how limited they were. Mm-hmm. I fully expected Destiny to go along the road of, getting more into the RPG aspects of the game, and instead they pulled back on it significantly.
And I fully expected that we would only have seen a portion of that screen. To me, it looked like that screen would pull over to the right, and there would be additional like branches off of it. To me,
that's never been expected.
Yeah, that's when I saw that at the DRE, and I'm like, alongside with the multiplayer only having 2 columns, 2 playable playlists. I thought that was only what we were seeing for the DRE to keep us from spoiling what was real. And no, I mean, that's where we are, man. I'd love to see the like Horizon Zero Dawn when you they didn't rewrite when you got the DLC, they added more skill trees to the established system. Yeah. I'd like to see something like that happening with Destiny 2, where a DLC gives us an opportunity to expand our current characters and their abilities.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I think it comes down to they just made the game so accessible.
Yeah.
Just made it so much easier for people to pick up and enjoy. Whereas before it felt like you had to put in a lot of time to understand what you were doing and where you're putting your points at, and even like what your grind was for. And now it's so easy for someone to just chill on the couch for an hour and play, and then they're good. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we fell in love with the complexity and the mystery and the.
Yep.
Rectum says, are you guys worried about how the repeal of net neutrality could affect your streaming careers?
Fuck yes.
Yes, very much so.
Yep.
There's all sorts of reasons I'm scared about net neutrality, the repeal of net neutrality.
If you didn't know what it was, what is it?
The FCC is trying to repeal the net neutrality rules. Basically, it would allow service providers to make their own rules about how they handle traffic and how they charge for data usage. For instance, they could, Comcast could say, okay, if you want to watch videos on your internet connection, it'll be an extra $5 a month. If you want to do Twitch, or if you want to do
Netflix,
Skype, it'll be an extra $5 a month. If you want to watch, they could just keep adding on fees. Or they could say, hey, we own this newspaper and this TV station, so these are free for you if you use Comcast, but all the rest of them you're going to have to pay for, thereby curating the content that is provided to you, including news and social commentary, therefore giving a corporation access or basically control over how you see news and the rest of the world. Which is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it. The extra fee stuff, like that'd be a bummer. But like them being able to control the news outlets essentially without they could just straight up deny news outlets the data, so it doesn't load.
New York Times wrote a bad article about Comcast. Well, New York Times doesn't exist for Comcast customers anymore.
Yeah.
Or they'll just throttle it so fucking hard that you're like, I can't even use it.
Yeah. I had read an article and they were theorizing what if Domino's was paying more money than Hungry Howie's, and if you went to go order,
nobody pays more money than Hungry Howie's.
It was an example of they would throttle or even block you from making a connection to that website to order a pizza because the other company was paying more.
Yeah,
that's terrifying.
Yeah,
it's very scary.
What if Fox News or MSNBC became allied with your internet service provider and you only had access to one of those?
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah. That's not the internet anymore.
No. It's not.
It's terrifying. It's not just terrifying for streamers. It is terrifying for streamers, but it's terrifying for a society.
Yeah.
Yeah. The free world.
Yeah. It's awful. And the people who are doing this should be fucking ashamed of themselves.
Yep.
You will
These are
find
bad
disagreements
you need
here.
to write and call your congressman.
These are evil fucking people doing evil fucking things.
Well, good thing everyone called in, because even though the FCC has basically said, "Oh, we're disregarding all of those comments now too," because they weren't written in legal terms. I'm not shitting you about that either.
I know. Xavier Johnson says, you guys think the backlash from the stream is coming because it was underwhelming, or is it that people are still hurt that Destiny 2 wasn't what they thought it would be back at launch? Me personally, I think Bungie should be more risky with content variety.
It's just the like we said, it's the disconnect between them talking to their core audience, their hardcore audience, versus marketing speak, and they blurred it into a gray mess.
Yeah. I mean, it's column A, column B, and yeah.
This community isn't happy right now, right? People love fucking Destiny, and they love being in the Destiny community. And what they see right now is a game that is no longer speaking to them. It's not calling them back, and it's not calling their friends back. And they see the community breaking apart, and that's fucking scary. And they're mad about it. They want this community to stick together because it's an important part of people's lives. Today I saw a post on Reddit that broke my fucking heart. This guy was talking about, how he couldn't wait. He moved to a new place. He lost all his friends in the old place, but his way of connecting to his old friends was through Destiny. And now a lot of those people aren't playing Destiny anymore. It's just breaking his heart. It's breaking his heart because he's losing contact with friends that he's had for 3 years.
That's sad.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we see so much passion.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Out. Yeah. I mean, I don't like any of the people I play with, so it's not going to bother me.
Yeah. Feelings mutual, Pope.
Yeah.
Unichronic says, I appreciate that it takes time to change games, but how on earth did Bungie, a team of so many people, come to the conclusion that this was a rewarding investment system? I would say this is the worst loot system in 3.5 years of Destiny.
Sometimes you got to try to, maybe you want to change things up. Maybe you want to see if this would work. Maybe make a bet on it and gamble for it. Because, man, if it had succeeded, cool. I don't know.
That's how I feel too.
Really don't know.
I really feel like they said, let's roll with this and see how it sticks. And obviously it's not successful. It's really, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So much of the game feels so fleshed out. Like the locations feel so vast and so beautifully detailed and just absolutely gorgeous. And other parts of the game feel so cobbled together and so rushed that I really got to suspect that there's some real development issues, in the last year of Destiny 2's development. We know that the game got delayed. It was supposed to come out in 2016. And I feel like we're in a similar situation we were with Vanilla Destiny, where we got a game that wasn't really the whole thing. It wasn't really the complete vision of one group of people. It was, split up between the guys who used to be in charge and the guys who are in charge.
Yeah. And a lot of it was an experiment that they didn't know how it was going to pan out. And they had to correct the course as the community got involved. Right now, we just don't feel like we're getting any response from them from when we talk. We get like these little nuggets here and there. Like you said, like 3-4 weeks ago, we had a response saying that they're looking at these things and addressing them. But we need to be told often, honestly.
You need to be told off? Is that what you said?
I need to be told off. Exactly.
Yes, you do.
On a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis.
Yes. Otherwise, I forget.
That's why I got
constant
married.
toddling. Like, you should ask my wife, man. It's like it's a constant fucking.
Did you take out the garbage?
No.
No.
I'll be right back.
Blowing up my Twitter, man.
Destiny 2 hype. My wife actually had to remind me to upload my podcast audio for the other podcast that I do. She asked, how come the podcast isn't up on iTunes yet? And Gary told her because Briar hasn't uploaded his audio yet.
Your wife is savage on Twitter, Briar.
Oh yeah. It's no joke. I told you I was not happy that she got on.
No, she's good. Her Twitter game is strong.
Destiny 2 Hype says, any interest in the new Monster Hunter game coming in January?
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of interest in that game.
Yeah.
That game looks dope. I can't wait for the PS4 demo. Or
Yes,
beta.
I haven't seen anything about it. I really haven't. What? Tell me about it.
Have you ever seen Monster Hunter? Like the other Monster Hunter?
Nope.
Just explain Monster Hunter real quick.
Damn, that's not an easy thing to do real quick.
Like, summarize it. What's the elevator pitch on it? Is it an open world?
It's a game that you play with your friends in a somewhat open
yes.
world. You go out with your friends and you adventure and you kill monsters to get loot and craft armor and weapons.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's very much about, cooperation. It's very much about hunting monsters, and it's very much about crafting loot, and there's a little bit of craziness in there too, like cooking health items in a pan that makes all sorts of fun noises, and your cat comes with you as on your adventures and dresses in funny outfits. And it's traditionally been, for the last few years, it's been just a 3DS game. This is the first one in a long time that's coming to a console and to the PC, and it looks freaking good. The latest issue of Game Informer has a huge cover article about it. It's a very cool looking game. I'm really excited about it. The demos or the beta's coming in December on the PS4, and then the game releases for PS4 and Xbox in January.
I'd say the question would be, do you want to take down a bunch of world bosses? Does that sound awesome?
Yes.
Monster Hunter is built for people that want to go take down world bosses, get loot, and keep on doing it again.
So how many, there's I imagine each monster's got a different way that you got to take it down, aka like Horizon Zero Dawn kind of stuff.
Hugely in-depth fights to take down monsters, using like swords that are 3 times the size of your entire body, and
so it's not based in reality, right?
Oh fuck
no!
You're taking down like
one monster they showed off is like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Mm-hmm. One is like this big fish monster, and then each individual monster gives specific loot that you can then use to craft armor and weapons to customize.
That sounds like that could exist in the real world, guys. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there. I
just can't find any fucking monsters to kill.
Well, just come to my neighborhood.
Gotta go hunt more.
Come out to my neighborhood.
I don't hunt for monsters nearly enough. Really lacking that part of my life.
That giant sea fish, one of those sunfish. They're like 3 or 4 tons in the ocean. I'm serious.
Kill that fucker. Make some armor.
They're huge. Yeah, that's got to be a lot of parts out of that.
Yeah. Reach inside them, pull out everything, and wear it around as an object.
Yeah, you get +5 stank.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Meyer says, do you think once all the Curse of Osiris streams are over with, Bungie will begin talking about the quality of life changes?
I hope so.
Yes.
They need to. Like they have no choice but to. They teased it. So that's their next focus. Like that needs to be where all of the talks and conversations shift to. So once that content's out, once Curse of Osiris is out, then that's the next step.
I really hope they don't go dark for like all of January.
No, they would shoot themselves in the foot if they did that.
Okay, I'm just gonna call it right the fuck now, guys. When about a week after this is gonna launch, because we've had it for the past 3 years. Week after the launch of this, from December to about halfway through January, it's vacation time.
I mean, that makes sense.
We're not going to hear anything from Bungie. So we're going to get pissed. We're going to get really angry. There's no communication because the Curse of Osiris is probably going to have some stuff that was wrong with it because it's a video game. Temper the expectations and don't get too angry. And then once January comes around, get back on the thing. It's just happened for the past 3 years. It's going to happen again. It's like Halley's Comet. It's predictable.
They need to be able to, or even like prefabricate some things so that they can at least encourage the community that, hey, it's going to be okay. Don't worry, we've got this stuff coming. Like if they go dark, it's going to be bad. It'll be very bad.
Also, Man, it would be really sweet if instead of a fashion show for the last stream, they just talk about quality of life / sandbox changes.
That'd be dope.
Because, man, armor's really cool, but it's even cooler just seeing it for yourself for the first time, just like a public event.
Way cooler than seeing it on stream.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I don't know. Armor that's mostly cosmetic is pretty badass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pretty great. And seeing it for the first time on my screen right here instead of through a stream is even better. Man.
The Melon Man says, you're having a fajita. Do you put the sour cream and guacamole on before or after the filling?
What?
Wait, the meat?
A fajita.
I assume so. Yeah. Yeah. Making a fajita.
Yeah.
Sour cream. Does it go on first?
Sour cream stays on the shelf in the grocery store.
What? Right? You don't put sour cream on there?
I'm not a fan of sour cream either.
How about guacamole then?
Guacamole's not bad.
Guacamole. I do guac.
So does it go on the top or on the bottom?
On the top.
I mean,
on the top.
Tim, are you telling me that if there's guacamole on the plate, you're going to be like, maybe not. Sure, this time we'll try a little bit.
No, like I'd eat it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something you'd go out of your way to put on it, though.
Would you, for instance, pay an extra $1 to get it put on your fajita?
It sounds like a Chipotle question. No,
I'm not gonna go actively seek the guacamole.
Right.
But if it's there, I will use it.
Is this because you've had bad guacamole experiences in the past?
I mean, is this something?
I just didn't grow up eating lots of guac.
That's it. See,
I didn't grow up eating lots of guac.
Are you a guy that like is guac the same to you as avocado?
No.
Okay. Like, would you do different things with them, or you see them both as kind of similar?
They both go on toast.
Guacamole on toast?
No.
What?
I mean,
avocado toast. Okay, never mind.
I got it. It was a millennial joke.
Millennial joke, man.
It's a millennial joke. I got it.
I didn't pick it up.
No, but like avocados, like I probably wouldn't have like slices of avocados on my sandwich, but if there was guacamole, I would probably have that with my chips.
Interesting.
Hey, a slice of avocado on a hamburger.
That's good.
A+.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, but we're not talking about hamburgers here. We're
talking
about fajitas, dude.
Hamburgers are so much more interesting than fajitas.
No, fajitas are great. You just haven't.
Fajitas are amazing.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Oh God,
I'm going sour cream and guacamole. You know what? It depends on the fajitas themselves. If they're really tender, then I might put them first, along with some onions on there. But if they kind of need a little support to be in the vehicle, the fajita, then I'll layer it up. I'll get a little sour cream going, a little bit of guacamole, so then put the fajitas in there and then deliver.
I like it. I like it. You keep your options open depending on what life presents you.
Exactly. Yeah, it really depends on the meat.
It's a good way to live.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
you
way
just
to
go
live.
with the Taco Bell strat and just
that's so complicated.
Like whatever is
I just want to eat the damn food.
Whatever.
You got to enjoy your meals, man.
What's the consistency of my vehicle?
Sour.
This is coming from a man that like is just talking about Hot Pockets every day.
Yeah, I mean, if you're riding the Taco Bell constantly, then of course, then it's just going to be like, whatever, it's junk anyways, junk in, junk out, But if you're having a quality fajita, then you gotta take moments. You gotta like see how how hot is it? Is it coming out super sizzling?
It's typically something that gets delivered to your table in like a steaming hot iron pan, right? Like the good ones are the word of the day here. You really want to be careful with this meal.
It needs to come out on an iron skillet, sizzling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The real Chili's experience right there.
Uh-oh.
It's not fajitas.
Am I still live? Because we just had a huge lag spike.
Being hyped in trailers, then turning out to just be really pretty semi-random bridge feels like a missed opportunity, just like Lost Sectors were at launch.
We haven't played it, so don't really know.
Yeah, it looks cool, but I'm kind of with Patrick. I hope it's harder than it looked in that because it's just like easy stroll through. That doesn't sound very engaging to me.
Are we back up, Tefty?
I don't know if we dropped actually.
People are saying lag.
It just lagged up, but
we had some weird lag spike hit.
Okay. Well, we weren't. It was nothing important. We were just talking about fajitas.
Yep.
I mean,
what?
To some,
how was not important about that?
How dare you?
That's a way of life. Please.
Yeah. Seriously.
Like, and if you didn't like that lag spike, and you live in the U.S., you need to call your congressman and support
Sounds
net
about right.
Don't let that
next
shit
question.
Don't let them pass the shit that will
Bryce
definitely
Huffman
cause that
says,
yeah.
If you could ask anyone at Bungie a single question, knowing you'd get an honest and straightforward answer, what would you ask and to whom?
That's a lot of power to have.
I know it's kind of an in-depth question, but it was an original one. I've never seen this one asked before.
I know what I would ask.
What would you ask?
I would get the truthful answer.
You get a straightforward, honest answer.
I would want to know from Eric at Bungie, Eric Osborne, if the freckles on his face truly represent all the souls that, as a ginger, he has stolen.
Wow.
I feel like that's a complete waste of a question.
No. It's like you see them and you know that. You know. I just want to know. No, I'll think of a good one. That was just a joke.
I'd ask anyone in the testing department, are you hiring? I don't mean that in like an asshole or facetious way, like no, legitimately.
Give me a job.
I wouldn't mind having weekends as like a thing now.
I would ask, and I would ask, why isn't there a dedicated servers?
For multiplayer.
That's
you'd get a real answer.
Yeah, I want a real answer as to why they didn't go with dedicated servers this time.
I want to know why they don't have time to explain why they don't have time to explain.
Second, just
no,
not that good of a question.
Damn it!
I like the freckles one more.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Yeah,
and I wasn't that impressed with that one.
It was delivered better.
It's okay. I admit it.
Yeah, man. I like the dedicated server talk.
Yeah.
I guess I'd ask whoever would be in charge of the end game economy, why tokens? Yeah.
That's another good one.
I think I would ask, like, legitimately, like, what's next for Destiny? Like, where do you see this? Where do you see this in a year? Where do you see it in 2 years? Where do you see it in 3 years? Like, talk to me here. Like, is this, do you see it kind of staying in the more casual space, or do you want to make it more hardcore? Like, where are we going here? Because, like, I'm really interested in that. Like, I'm genuinely concerned that this game is not going in the direction that the community wants it to.
As a serious question, I guess I just have to go to the top. Like whoever the game directors would be, it's like, what is the exact vision? Is everyone on the same page? Are you guys making an RPG shooter or a shooter RPG? What percentage is it at? Like, what percent shooter action? What percent RPG? And is everyone on the same page with it? Because it feels like it's all over the place with yeah. Hello?
Topher says, what changes do you think are necessary what changes do you think are necessary to make people want to go into engagements on their own in PvP? Right now, it's like a field trip where everyone has a buddy. I'm not going to lie to you. I chose this question because I just like that analogy. It's like a field trip where everyone has a buddy. I thought that was funny.
That is nice. That's
My
very
field trips
PG
never
version.
had buddies.
Yeah.
You didn't have the buddy system?
No.
Did you go to public school? Were you homeschooled?
No.
Was your buddy the teacher? Were you the last kid that had to
That
get
might
paired
actually
up with
be
the
right.
teacher?
That actually might be right.
Yeah, the ass hugging meta is interesting.
I think they'll have to reduce the time to kill, right? It'll be a faster time to kills. Will make people be able to venture out on their own, and when they run into 2 people at a time, it feel like if I have the skill, if I get the drop on them, I can take them out.
Honestly, 4v4, now that I've played this game for nearly 3 months, and I've enjoyed the PvP. I am somebody who actually enjoys it. I enjoy it a lot on PC. I really do. 4v4 was, in my opinion, a big mistake. 6v6 was the party playlist. It was the big team battle. And 3v3s, like skirmish, was the kind of I'm feeling serious and want to go have a challenge. And the quick play playlist has basically turned into the skirmish playlist from Destiny 1, where it was you go in there ready to be a tryhard because you're hugging ass.
Super sweaty.
Yeah, you got one hand on your buddy's ass and the other hand on your old-fashioned, making things work. And there's no party playlist for people to go in and just relax. Like, it literally says low effort or low intensity, which is the complete opposite of what quick play is right now. You have to go play trials for some casual games, which is hilarious.
It actually is. That
Right?
actually is true.
It is. It's mind-blowing. And they took away 6v6 and they said everything, they took away Rumble and they took away 6v6 and saying that it's all going to be 4v4 now. And it was a big mistake. They need a party playlist. They need a big team battle, a 6v6 or an 8v8 or something like that. And I know that the netcode is already really bad when it comes to that many connections connecting, but at least people felt like they could just jump in, have some fun, and not feel like if they're bringing their team down and just leave because, they're getting pub stomped by some other team. Quick sweats. Exactly. That's what it feels like right now.
I think also matchmaking for casual needs a change. Because when I solo queue into casual and I go up against Giggs and his team when I'm by myself, that sucks. That happened to me.
Right. Yeah.
That happened to me last week. I got on at like 8 a.m. and started doing some Crucible, and I love Giggs. I love him, and he's an awesome dude. But going up against him with 3 randoms sucked.
Yeah, that's
so hard. They're just lulled as they just went across. It was like I think we got like 3 kills. And that was it. Like if it was. I think they need to figure out how to make it. If you have a stack of 4, they need to be able to go up against either a stack of 3 or a complete stack of 4. It should not be stack of 4 versus random 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun. That is not fun at all.
I have nothing but agreement with that statement.
It's the 4v4 playlist. Like, the problem is that there's quick play and then there's comp, and there's no incentive for a stacked team to stay in a playlist to try to grind points. So they go to quick play and pub stomp, and that creates this desire for no casual to stay in that playlist. So then the population drops, and the whole point of the 2 playlists was to increase population. So it's literally being counterintuitive to what their original intent was.
Yes, all that.
I would love to see the numbers of how many people actually play the competitive playlist versus who plays.
I don't ever go in there.
Same.
I never go in there.
I have no desire to.
I don't go in there. I don't go in there because there's some game modes in there that just drag on forever, and I don't.
Survival. Now that they changed survival, I like that game mode a lot more. When it comes up in trials now, it's way more fun than it used to be. Mm-hmm. It used to feel like it took hours to do a trials card when it was survival. Now it just feels fun.
It does. There's big changes, but I still would. I mean, I started playing Call of Duty World War II recently, and to get my PvP itch scratched, because in Destiny I'm not enjoying it, and I love PvP. I always have, and I can go in there. I can play Search and Destroy if I want to play Search and Destroy. I can play Domination if I want to. I can play. I mean, there are playlists specific to what I want to play, and I know what I'm going to get when I go in there, and. If I'm not here's the thing. If I'm not doing well and I'm not having fun playing whatever game mode, there's always another game mode to try. And it's like something new, mentally, or, somehow it's like a reset, and you're like, well, I'm not having fun in team deathmatch, so I'll go try domination. And then I'm not trying, so it's a little bit of a different mentality. But when you only have such limited choices, the frustration happens sooner and it happens more fanatically, where you just say fuck it and I'm not going to play.
Exactly. Right? You can see on the track numbers also. Like Crucible is not having a good time on Destiny Tracker. Like the population is shrinking for the Crucible players. The PvE side, it's over 1 million still. But when it comes to Crucible, even when Trials comes around, it doesn't get that much of a bump.
I mean, I'm playing World War II to get mine, and I'm playing now Fortnite. And when I want to play PvP, that's what I do. I still enjoy raiding. I still enjoy grinding strikes, but I'm not interested in Iron Banner because I just not. So if I start up my PlayStation and I want to play PvP, I'm not gravitating towards Destiny right now, and that's
delete all that porn off that PC. Send me a friend request on Blizzard.net, and let's play some PvP together, man.
Yeah. With all that said, the PvP on PC, it is nice. As
soon as I get this thing up and running, and I'll play with you guys, and I'm sure I'll be excited.
Yeah.
Calvin Lawless says, "What is the best fighting game franchise?" Any answer besides Soul Calibur is incorrect.
Best fighting game?
Yeah.
Fighting game franchise.
I would have to say the Super Smash Brothers, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my personal.
That's a little baby's game. That doesn't count as a fighting game.
You are about to get roasted in chat right now, my friend. I wish you luck.
I'm gonna say Mortal Kombat because that's where some of my early gaming memories are, like going to an arcade and just spending way too much time. And I had $20 in quarters, which was a gold mine for a kid, playing Mortal Kombat in the arcade. Oh, those were good times. So it's more.
And they still make them. When's the last time they made a Soul Calibur game? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember my brother bought a PlayStation and I got to play Soul Calibur on that. I thought that was pretty cool. But Mortal Kombat has a special place in my heart.
Marvel versus Capcom for me.
Oh my God, seizure inducer right there.
Oof. Yeah.
I really like the Street Fighter series. I've always liked the Street Fighter series. It was the first love for me of fighting games. It's definitely taking a turn downhill over the last couple of years, but I loved the Alpha series. I love Third Strike series. I love Street Fighter 3, 2.
Is anyone excited for DB Fighter Z?
Is it that cartoon game?
Yeah, it's the new Dragon Ball Fighter game coming out. Come on.
I don't know. I played Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, and that was a good one, but I don't know.
You got something in your
I don't know. Just I'm interested in it, but the genre as a whole is just with Dragon Ball. It's like, what else can we do with this? I don't know.
Love Dragon Ball, so if I can just go Super Saiyan on someone, and it's fun. This looks fun.
Never got into the series.
Really?
Oh. Yep. I'm sure. I mean, I'm. It's interesting. I've watched some of the shows and it's been interesting, but that's something that I just never clicked with me. But
your power.
I prefer the movie.
Not over 9,000.
The movie was really good. The live action one. Other than that, I don't really much of it.
Oh no.
I am RS3.
You're gonna get some serious hate mail after this podcast.
He hates Super Smash Brothers, and now he loves the DB.
Do you guys ever play?
I am RS3.
You guys ever play Virtual Fighters?
Oh yeah, love it.
Yeah,
I like Tekken better than Virtual Fighter.
Tekken was good. Was it Dead or Alive was really good too.
Oh yeah.
It had great boob physics.
Yep.
Yeah, that another great movie.
Oh god, they had a movie on that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
IMRS3 says zombie apocalypse and all food supplies are gone. Who do you eat first and why?
In the podcast?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
All the food is gone. Who do you eat first and why?
Who do you eat first?
Well, I'm the best cook here, so probably not me. So I can make long.
You do have
I can allegedly.
I feel like my zombie apocalypse is going to be much more enjoyable once Holtz is dead.
Here's the
Get
problem.
rid of
Here's the
the
problem.
Eagle Scout.
He's gonna
with all
have
the survival skills. The best
Tefty-
cook.
Tefty eats very healthily, so I feel like he'd be delicious.
I'm not gluten free.
I was gonna say
I'm not gluten free.
Holtz is probably filled with like Taco Bell.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteer.
So let's come and comment.
I volunteer. I'll go first.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. The thought of eating any of you is probably not on the top of my list. I think I
slow cook it.
I think I would like to hope that my survival skills would get us to a point where we would not need to eat each other.
I'd hope that we'd have like some pork or beef, really some pork to mix it in with, just to.
They said all the food's gone.
All the food's gone,
No,
huh?
just people.
Yeah,
I would find
all about
some
the long pork now.
I would find some way of cooking zombies.
You don't want to.
Hey, you know what? I'm not.
Ugh. That's not like eating aged beef, dude.
All I'm saying is there's nothing like a cured leg of zombies.
Some Kobe zombie here. This is delicious.
Hey, I don't know. I'm just not eating you guys. I mean, maybe I'll just.
That's why I volunteered first. I don't want to eat you guys.
Yeah, I'm with Tefty.
We're going first together.
We're going together.
Yeah.
You guys can pick my butt hair out of your teeth.
Yeah.
I'm good with this situation. Patrick, we good?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Lux Regalia says, how do you prefer cranberries, canned or homemade? Personally, if it doesn't hold the shape of the can, I don't want it.
Homemade is very specific. If you don't cook them right, then they're not very good. But good homemade cranberries are delicious. Cooked
I
right.
just like cranberry. I just just like when you see the cranberry Jello come out of the can and it's just the mold of the can. It's just like Happy Thanksgiving. Like it. Yeah. No, it's just
part of it.
Yeah.
I need to be able to read the label on the outside when you take it out of the can.
The jelly stuff is so good on sandwiches the next day too.
No, yeah, it is. It's just,
so good.
I like sauce more than I like the Jello. It creeps me out. The whole Jello thing.
My family makes some with orange peels and.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's delicious.
That's top level cranberry sauce right there.
So my family,
I'd rather have the can.
My family never made cranberry anything.
Not even canned.
It's like when people make their own stuffing, and you're like, "Fuck! I wish you just made stovetop. This is kind of rotten with the walnuts in it. What were you thinking with these cranberries and the stuffing?"
No, we make our own stuffing.
My family does as well.
Yeah,
good
with the innards.
The innards, and then you throw some crawfish tail meat into that.
Crawfish tail.
Never had that before.
Crawfish tail meat, not
whatever.
the whole tail.
Yeah, it sounds disgusting.
That's like saying throw some escargot in there.
Yeah, I know, right? You know what'd be good this year, turkey? I'm gonna throw some mud bug in there. Goddamn!
Aren't they like mini lobsters?
Goddamn right, to throw some mud bugs in with my turkey.
They're like dirty little lobsters that live in the mud.
Yeah. Seriously, it's like the cockroach version of lobsters.
I think.
Look, they're not dirty. Okay, you
I mean, you can wash a cockroach too. You can do that. That is possible.
Yeah.
Well, look, do they eat
sure
90% of their food from the ocean floor or from the river bottom?
I mean, clams do too, and they're delicious.
True. You make a good point.
Yeah.
But I beg to differ that the quality of the river water going down is
the best from Louisiana. And the carcinogen rate in the water there is pretty high.
Yes,
so
it is.
Look,
you're eating a bottom feeder at the bottom end of the food table, at the bottom end of where the water runoff goes, and you're gonna get sick.
This is why I don't eat
I've never gotten
either.
sick from eating crawfish. Like the thing that you want to do, you have to purge them before you cook them. So that basically entails putting them in salt water, and then they just vomit for like the last 5 hours of life. They vomit up all the crap.
Let's move on. Everything. Sam says, what is the average airspeed of an unladen swallow?
And then after that 5 hours, you want to take them out of that, and then you boil them.
Can somebody mute him?
I wish I could, man. He started the call. He's fucking. He's beating us. Keith says, do you eat your Thanksgiving meal at dinner or at lunch?
Yes.
Both.
Yeah.
I think
it all blends together.
Yeah, in our family, you start cooking in the morning and you start eating food somewhere around lunchish. And then, somewhere between lunch and dinner, you're eating more. And then dinner, you're eating more. And then after dinner, you're drunk and yeah.
And then the next day, the turkey sandwiches start.
Yes.
Yes.
We do turkey a la king next day.
Yeah, no, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
What do you eat, Tefty, if you're not eating a bird?
I eat a bird.
Oh, you eat a bird. I thought it was like,
whoa, I'm not vegan.
I mean,
turkey have gluten in it?
You calling me vegan? What the hell?
Safe.
Well, all I'm saying is that you have all these weird food tendencies.
It's
so I figured
only wheat. It's literally only flour.
I thought.
Are you saying that you eat just a big chunk of just tofu? Then
right?
No, God, no.
That's what I
heard too.
Guys,
wheat equals tofu.
You can have. Whoa, no, definitely not. Listen, you can absolutely have gluten-free stuffing, and it can be delicious. I have personally made it before, and people have raved about it. All right, so yes, I do have some dietary restrictions, which means that you can't take a loaf of bread and shove it into a bird and cook it. But there is some gluten-free options that do involve gluten-free bread and some potatoes and stuff and some, wild rice.
So wait a second. You're really, you eat meat? I thought that like you just didn't eat anything that tasted good.
That's a crass
You guys ever had a turducken?
generalization.
I've always wanted to try one.
Okay.
I've never had one before.
What is it?
It's a turducken.
Turducken. It's a
Turkey, duck, and
No.
shoved
It's a hen.
inside a turkey.
It's a hen inside a Cornish game hen inside a duck inside a turkey, and then each that are all deboned.
That sounds fucked up.
Dude, it's so good. Okay,
Now, are they raised that way,
so it's
or
really
is it-
easy.
Yeah.
to
Oh
carve.
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's
There's
some crazy
stuffing.
breeding shit.
There's
going on.
stuffing in between each layer. I prefer the crawfish.
Oh,
Crawfish
God.
thing.
Oh, here we go again.
This is just awful.
What is wrong with you people?
Have you
I
guys
like to
ever had a
think-
fried turkey? I heard a fried turkey is like
If
to die for.
done right, it's really good.
You literally die doing it because you burn your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the number one cause of houses burning down.
Every
is
year.
why you just do it outside, not inside.
No, you do it right in your living room.
Yes,
in your
like
living room,
a,
right
like a
in the
homeless
middle.
person,
And don't
like a
let the
squatter.
don't let the bird defrost either. Just while it's frozen, just slam that thing in. They're good.
Yeah, exactly. I like to think
Just
of the
stick
three
it in.
birds talking to each other and being like, "What is up with these humans? They want to put you inside of me and me inside of them. What the hell?
Kinky motherfucker.
You gotta get
You
out
gotta
of
admit
here."
though, it sounds delicious, doesn't it?
It's so good.
I'm kind of hungry thinking
so-
about it.
Look, duck is just like really fatty, so then it makes the hen and the turkey like really moist too. Okay, and it's a dark
I
meat,
like
richer. So then when you get like the cut of the turkey breast meat, which is going to be really light, and you go to this nice dark meat from the duck.
Just because you can do
Really?
it doesn't mean you should do it.
Look,
Doesn't
I'm
it?
just. Yes,
Are you
it
sure
does.
about that?
I'm positive about that. Just because you can doesn't mean you
I don't
should.
know if I buy this little piece of advice. This is like your whole college advice, man. It was just flawed from the get-go.
Oh my god, man!
Look.
I don't even understand. I don't even understand people like they. It's like the same thing with like you go to state fairs and they fry like shit. They just fry stuff and they sell
Like
it to
butter.
you, like butter,
Fried
and,
butter.
and ice cream and like
Things,
sandwiches.
Coca-Cola.
things that you could never imagine being fried get fried.
And then they just
Fried
throw-
Oreos are legit delicious. It's a
Yes,
thing.
once again,
It's-
you just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Nah, no, Pope, you're wrong. Hashtag Pope was wrong. Unichronic says, who would you rather have at your Thanksgiving table, Asher Mir or Eris Morn?
Oh, wow.
Dude. Are we talking real life?
Talking about the characters in the
actual
game.
characters.
Okay, well, because I like Morla would be freaking awesome to have over.
We're talking
no,
about
you don't get
Eris
the
Morn. Droopy,
get the actors.
you got drippy eyes all over the table.
Well, fuck.
Definitely gonna
or
have
Vex
napkins
arm.
on that side of the table.
You either you
Don't
got
use good. Don't use the good napkins there.
yeah.
That's like, well, I would have the best of both worlds. I would have Eris Morn come over and invite Holtz over, and then I'd have them both.
Asher is gonna fuck up all your silverware too with that fucking claw arm.
Or he already has a utensil. And so he doesn't even have to use them. He already has a built-in fork.
That's good.
That's sanitary.
He probably thinks eating in general is irrelevant.
He's gonna just criticize the hell out of the whole meal and be like, "Why you cooking a turkey that way?
Irrelevant. Impossible.
Turducken, irrelevant. You don't need to combine 3 meats of proteins."
Asher Mir is kind of a dick, but Erismorn, like, yeah, she's a little.
She'd be so depressed all the way through dinner.
Oh, she's got a sense of humor every once in a while.
I remember when I could eat food.
Do you get the impression that like the hive and the darkness kind of follow her? You know, so if she's coming over your house, you know, you might get a little like hive,
dark cloud.
Yeah, a little.
It's like saying Voldemort, and all of a sudden you get his attention.
Yeah, and you'd be like, "What the hell is that? Some sparkly taken crap around me? I gotta get this place cleaned."
I think that she's definitely the person that I'd invite over, mainly because of the ghost stories afterwards.
That's a good point.
But she doesn't have a ghost anymore. Her ghost can't tell stories.
Oh, right in the fields.
That was depressing. Mohegan 9 says, if we didn't have cars and had to use animals for transportation, what would you choose?
Cheetah.
Dragon.
You'd crush a cheetah.
Oh, why did I say dragon? That's amazing.
I wanna. What are those ones that are half lion, half
a liger?
No. They fly. The kestrel. No.
Oh, you're talking.
No. We're talking real animals, like animals that you can actually.
Griffins
see
are
in
real
life.
Hey, man, dragons are real.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Cheetahs.
You're right. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking.
Thank you.
Can I?
You ride a turducken?
Yeah.
When I ride a turducken.
I genetically modify it so they're all 3 together and actually alive.
Yeah.
I feel like ostrich is the way to go. I feel like it's really fast getting around. You know, they cook around, but they're not going to eat as much as like a horse or a camel or something. You know, because it's a bird, and eating like bird is a thing.
Cool doing it though.
Like, I disagree, sir. I think
if
a man riding an ostrich would look quite cool.
But if you rolled up on a lion, though, people would respect the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
That thing will eat me.
Yeah, but I'm rolling up on a turducken.
Yeah.
I genetically engineered this into being.
Nobody's gonna beep at the guy riding a lion either, right?
I'm gonna.
You got the right of way, sir.
I'm gonna change my. I'm gonna ride a bear so that I could be like Master Blaster, where I'm Pope and that's the bear, and we're like Pope. Oh,
just got a buffalo.
I feel like an elephant would be the Humvee of those. You know, be like, yeah, this guy having a
what's the gas mileage?
Giant elephant.
I think that Tefty character is compensating for something, if you know what I mean.
Get the trunk on this elephant.
See the size of the
God.
trunk? Yeah.
Oh my god. Look at the size
That's it.
of this.
That's all for the Twitter questions today.
All right. Well, that's awesome, man.
Solid.
You know, I'm surprised by some of your answers tonight, Tefty. It just really,
right?
Yeah.
Huh. I'm surprised you thought I was vegan.
Well, you know, I just kind of categorize you as one of those weird eaters.
We did a cooking competition where we made tacos with beef.
Oh, I know all that.
Do you understand what vegan means?
Yes. But see, in my mind, when you are like, you're just the person that eats weird things.
I feel like Tefty said he's not vegan on this podcast 10 to 15 times.
Pretty easily.
That's true. That's true. Those are all real points, but it doesn't matter.
I think Pope is selectively choosing to not listen to information that I tell him.
Maybe. Otherwise, I would have picked the Ferrari.
You would have picked the Ferrari.
Shit. Thanks for coming on the show, Darkness.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're welcome to come on anytime, man.
Thank you.
I mean, we're missing Watts. She's in Japan. She's been in the Japan for a couple weeks.
Will she be back next week, or one more?
Yeah, she should be back next week.
And we have Sarah Daniels on, which is going to be
awesome.
Awesome.
She's going to be fun. She's in the Macy's parade, I guess.
Really?
Tomorrow? Yeah. I was checking.
She performing?
I think so. Yeah.
So cool.
That's cool. That's really cool.
She said she had to wake up at 3 a.m. to get ready for the Macy's parade. She's in it.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's early morning for sure.
3 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day.
It's better than waking up 3 a.m. the day after Thanksgiving.
For Black Friday?
Yeah.
Not day after, dude. I worked at Target. I had to be there.
I worked at Best Buy.
Yeah, doors actually opened at like 9 p.m.
I feel like you
Thanksgiving Day
and Tim would have a lot of stories to tell between Best Buy and Target.
Nasty, dirty retail stories.
Great.
What's the etiquette for
what goes in that stock room? What's going on back there?
Yeah,
all I hear is banging.
Those double doors,
bang, bang, bang all day long.
Yeah, it's me going back there. The bang bang is my head against the wall because someone thinks we have an entire goddamn warehouse back here that we're totally hiding the thing. Can you just go check in the back? Sure. And I take that as a 5-minute break. And then I come back out and say, nah.
Wow, employee of the month.
Yeah. There you go. And you wonder why Target's struggling.
And they didn't promote you?
Is Target struggling? I didn't know.
I don't know. They're not.
They gave me like I think I quit before they could give me a raise.
That teaches them.
Yeah, it does.
Look at this.
How's that turnover rate doing for you?
Stick it to the target.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give you an opportunity to walk away.
Oh man.
You want to end this thing, Patrick, or are you just gonna?
You gonna be on autopilot for the rest of the night?
Oh, dude, I'm already there. I've been up for a really fucking long time, so I'm already feeling it. All right, thank you all for tuning in to the 60th episode of the Destiny Community Podcast. You want to find more of me? I'm Matt Holtzmann _YT on Twitter, where you can find me pairing mini birds together
with
to
crawdads.
form wonderful meals.
With crawdads.
What?
With crawdads.
It's like doing the human centipede with birds
crawfish.
You're like, what's good on this burger? A crawdad. You know what the steak needs?
Delicious.
Crawdads.
Oh my god, yes, dude.
This is a wonderful salad. What should I put on
Crawdads.
it?
Dude, if you put crawfish,
this queso really is missing something. Crawdads.
Yeah. Put crawfish etouffee over a steak. Not only will it taste delicious, but you take about 20 years off your life.
Briar, where can we find you?
You can find me streaming on Twitch every weekday. Been expanding my hours, so can't exactly tell you when I'll be on, but most days. And you can find me making occasional YouTube videos or talk to me on Twitter.
You can
at the Briar Rabbit.
You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. My name is Tefty Teft. You can catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. I usually stream daily in the evening time. And I have a YouTube channel as well, Tefty Teft.
Tim?
You can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Darkness429, Mondays through Friday from 6 a.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern time. And Saturdays and Sundays are super freaking random. And twitter.com/Darkness429.
Awesome. Now, you would listen to this outro and think that we have never done a podcast before, but this is like, we're on years of being together. Can you imagine that? Years.
I feel like any day we're going to nail it, too.
We're going to nail it one of these days.
We're going to really fucking kill it. All this practice is going to finally pay off.
And this has been Pope Bear. You can find me on Twitter at Pope Bear and, haunting these guys' streams. You can follow us on Twitter at DestinyCompod. And make sure you follow that and find out when we are doing anything that's Destiny related. We're going to have Sarah Daniels on next week. If you're listening to this on iTunes, it really helps us a lot if you will leave a comment and rate us. And same for YouTube and all the other places that you listen to us. It definitely helps us. We have broken into the top 10 of podcasts in gaming.
Wow,
so,
that's awesome.
Shit, really?
Damn.
Yeah. So we are doing very well, and it's all to our listeners and fans who follow us and contribute and stay with us throughout these ups and downs in Destiny. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely the best Fortnite podcast out there.
I think the real reason I quit Target is because I wanted to work more hours on Black Friday because I got paid like time and a half. And they only gave me
I guess we weren't done with that part of the conversation.
Are you like delirious?
They only gave me like 2 hours.
Drinking?
Are you drinking the crawfish? You blending them up and drinking them now?
I can't find any. If anything, I have
you're lacking crawfish.
We were done.
Can't you air flight that stuff out of Amazon to Seattle?
You don't want to order the Chinese stuff.
I mean, I figure if anybody's going to do it, you can do it, Pat.
Tim,
I know,
I'm sorry.
but they're not in season right now.
I would like to say that this is abnormal, but it's just not.
Yeah.
We are held slave to Patrick's woeful tendencies of, you know.
You have to stay here and listen to me rant about crawfish now. I could end the podcast.
This is my life.
Yes.
What? Oh,
I just stopped my
Thank
recording.
you all for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Bye. Thanks very much.